84-degree night here in Jacksonville, where the face of the franchise is Blake Bortles. It's year 3 for the number 3 overall pick of the 2014 draft. And just a moment ago, he spoke with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Blake, you went from throwing 11 touchdown passes your rookie season to 35 last year, and now as you head into year number 3, how do you hope to build on that?
You know, I think we're excited to have, Greg Olsen back, second year in the same system, so I think that kind of helps out a lot with continuity and being able to get on the same page with everybody. So I think it's a continued growth, and we want to try and continue that progress.
This is a really young team, but for the first time in a long time, there are expectations for the Jacksonville Jaguars. How are you all reacting to that?
You know, we've kind of set our own expectations, and we see and feel the hype and all that, but we have our own, and we expect to reach those expectations.
Good luck. Thanks for stopping.
Thank you.
And starting at left tackle tonight, Kelvin Beachum making his Jacksonville debut after recovering from a torn ACL, and that means Luke Joeckel will move over and make his first ever NFL start at left guard.
Okay, Michelle, it's a chance to preview what the Jaguars would like to see from their front this year. Very humid night here in Jacksonville as the Jaguars won the toss and will receive. So you know that the touchbacks have been moved to the 25. A lot of conversation about how often will the return game be impacted. Last year in the regular season, 41% of kickoffs were returned. This year in the preseason, there's a bump, but do note, there was a bump in the preseason last year. Sometimes you want to see guys in the return game. Sometimes you don't have the best kicker kicking off as you sample guys like Zach Hocker, a new kicker who's going to get his first Bengals action. But Chris, there's a lot of talk here in the preseason. How are coaches going to play this kickoff thing as we get to the regular season?
Well, we know how Marvin Lewis is going to play it, don't we? He was adamant. He said, why would I take a chance on getting anybody hurt? And the first time somebody returns one for a touchdown, every special teams coach is going to switch.
Corey Grant, running back out of Auburn, is back deep. And he will take it. We have a penalty flag thrown right away as this one gets started about 7 yards from where the kickoff happened. So we'll see if Blake Bortles will take over at the 25 or not. Tony Correnti is the referee for this preseason game. And it looks like we're getting the kickoff teams back on the field here.
Offside, kicking team number 30. Jacksonville has sectored the option of a 5-yard penalty and a re-kick.
Cedric Pearman, a veteran special teamer and backup running back for the Bengals, was offside.
There you go, Cedric Pearman just ahead. You know the kickers always take that little hesitation, and he's just over the line. Good call by the officials. And really the officials in preseason, Mike, we know they like to set high standards, right? Because that's not really a call they love making in the regular season, so everybody gets dinged in preseason.
Get a look at Gus Bradley, 50 years old, the head coach of the Jaguars. In his 4th season, you look at the record, and in other cities and other places, there'd be a lot of heat on a coach, but Gus Bradley is part of a build here. And now they're at the point where they want to see more than just promise and potential. They want to see results in terms of wins and losses.
You look at these players, there's no reason they can't get them.
This kick will be returned this time by Grant. And Corey Grant across the 30, and a nice return to the 37-yard line. So a dozen more yards than it would have been if they'd taken the touchback. Chris Lewis-Harris with the tackle. Pro Football Focus position rank on the starters for Jacksonville at the bottom of your screen. Chris Ivory comes over from the Jets. 2 good Allens as receivers. See if Julius Thomas can pick up and go back to his Denver days of performance. Michelle told you about Beachum. That moves Joeckel into left guard. Brandon Linder is moving into center with Can and Parnell all in front of Blake Bortles.
Green is on light. Hey, Mike's 56. Green 80. Green is on.
TJ Yeldon will be the first running back. And the second-year man from Alabama cannot turn the corner as Chris Lewis-Harris comes up from his quarterback spot to make the stop. So Chris, we talked about Blake Bortles. You know, if you weren't following college football closely, Central Florida, so not that Power 5 conference profile, but solid performances there. He's really earned his way into this role the last 2 years.
Yeah, big deep ball thrower. And think Ben Roethlisberger. He's a huge guy. Probably doesn't have Ben's arm strength, but Ben doesn't have his mobility and ability to escape the pocket and make some plays. Good young player.
6'5", just under 240 pounds. Swings it out to Yeldon. In the open field, the tackle is missed, and Yeldon with a good game as Carlos Dansby and Sean Williams take him to the sideline.
Well, you'll have to forgive me. I'm watching some offensive line play in here tonight, and you've got Luke Jokel right there working against Geno Atkins. Luke, you'll never get one tougher than that. And Jokel moving in from the left tackle position. Now, he was one of the highest draft choices his year. Really hasn't worked out that great for him at left tackle. They move him inside where his strength can be a factor. Space, always his problem. When he gets his hands on somebody, does pretty well.
Green 80. Well. Green is shot.
Jokel was the number 2 overall pick. It's 3rd and 3, and the pass complete to Thomas for the first down. Julius Thomas on the reception. And that's a player that everyone around here wants to see involved a bit more.
Yeah, but they don't want to see too much of this one, though. Luke Jokel. There we go. Geno just warming up, I guess, on that first one. Right down. Welcome to guard. There's some big guys in there, but you're right. Julius Thomas, a guy that a season ago did not look like the Julius Thomas that we saw in Denver. He just didn't.
Green 80. Green is shot.
And Bortles to the air on first down. Cincinnati snuffed out that screen, and Yeldon cannot get anywhere close. The ball comes down and is scooped up by Vincent Ray, and he's pulled down inside the 25-yard line. So the good play in pursuit, the Bengals linebacking core forcing the turnover as Yeldon lost it.
Well, Yeldon trying to get as many plays as he possibly can now. Let's see, he really never had complete control of the ball. Wonder if that comes into play at all. Kind of just, I guess maybe there would have been enough control, and looked like Maluga just punched it out.
Ray Maluga in the middle there, and Blake Bortles.
Boy, that's what you want to see in preseason games, right?
The Cincinnati fans know that an innocent-looking attempted tackle by a quarterback could change your season. That's what happened on December 13th when Andy Dalton injured his thumb. A.J. McCarron had to finish off the year. Dalton didn't throw until March. Back in there at quarterback for the Bengals, taking over in great field position, and Jeremy Hill will carry for 3 yards, the third year back out of LSU. Chris, it's a shame that injury happened because Dalton was building on the best of his 5 NFL seasons.
There's no question about it. And Andy Dalton's a guy that is going to get rid of the football quickly. So even if you have some issues on your offensive line, he's going to cover up for it. But he was very much in the MVP race. Remember this, a team started 8-0 last year. They were looking great, and they had to play the playoffs without him.
In the red zone, pressure comes off the corner. Dalton floats it incomplete for C.J. Uzomah, the tight end. They have no Tyler Eifert. They have no Tyler Croft, who would be the second tight end. They're both out with injury. So the cast around Dalton a little different than what the Bengals would like to see as the season goes on. Hill in the backfield, Green the terrific receiver. Brandon LaFell, they got to find somebody to replace Marvin Jones, who's now with the Detroit Lions. Up front, the veterans Whitworth and Winston on the tackle spots, as the young players, Jake Fisher and Cedric Ogwehi, both taken in last year's draft, are out tonight with injury. Giovanni Bernard in the game, top of the screen, 3rd and 7. Jaguars bring 5. They get it into the hands of Bernard, who will walk in for the touchdown. Clint Bowling out there threw a nice block to pave the way for Bernard. A 19-yard score.
Boy, was that nice. Get a block here, and then Bowling's just going to go straight through because there's nobody over him, and set these 2 blocks on the outside, and there simply is nobody there on the outside for Giovanni Bernard. What a great start for the Cincinnati Bengals here.
Such a good running back combo they have, Chris, with Hill and Bernard, and using the balance of the 2. If Hill comes back to his rookie season form the entirety of this year, plus Bernard on the edges and his quickness. Excellent 1-2 punch. Mike Nugent, who has missed 3 kicks in this preseason, pounds that extra point through, and Marvin Lewis's team off to a good start. They get the turnover, and 3 plays later, Bernard to the end zone. 7-0 Cincinnati. Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Been around for 100 years, the Jacksonville Zoo, and yes, they do have both Jaguars and Bengals on display. And we do here tonight. We also have a swimming pool. They put this in a couple of years ago. One of the great features of this remodeled Everbank Field. Chris, I think this is the only team in the league that employs lifeguards.
I tell you what, I could call the game from there tonight. I'll be honest with you.
Well, we might be doing that anyway with how much we're sweating up here. It's a typical August night in Jacksonville. Temperature and the humidity are pretty close.
Sometimes I wonder how I survived two-a-days at the University of Florida. I'm soft now.
Mike Nugent will get this kickoff as the two kickers alternate. There's no return from Corey Grant. So that Cincinnati defense, which forced a turnover, back out there. They're really, really good up front. Again, look at those Pro Football Focus rankings on the bottom. Carlos Dunlap, Dovatopeko, Atkins, the outstanding All-Pro season, Michael Johnson. The linebackers, Carlos Dansby comes over from Cleveland. Maualuga and Ray combined to make a play already. Though Vontaze Burfict not playing in the preseason. And in the secondary, Drake Patrick, Sean Williams, George Iloka, and Chris Lewis Harris is starting. That was supposed to be Adam Jones, but the veteran was injured in pregame warmups tonight. So no Adam Jones for Cincinnati. And they're a little beat up at that cornerback position. It's hard running Chris Ivory for a couple of yards. And Chris, here's what happened pregame with Adam Jones.
It's almost hard to believe. I mean, this was the warm-up to the warm-up. I mean, this is just what you do in kind of drills that get yourself loose and that calf locked up. And there's a big difference between did he injure it, and that looks more like he may have injured it.
Right.
But I talked to a couple of the Bengals coaches over there, and they thought that he thought anyway it was going to be okay. So let's hope. He's a great player.
Second and 8, Ivory to the right. It's a good pursuit from the man replacing him, Chris Lewis Harris, on the tackle. So Chris Ivory started the career in New Orleans, last couple of years with the Jets. What does he bring to this Jacksonville team?
A new physical identity. You know, T.J. Yeldon's a very good player, but Chris Ivory has this physical nature to him. They actually have to back him down in practice because he doesn't know how to not run over people. He looks for contact, and when you're looking for an identity of your offense, that's exactly what you want, because then all the run game, play action, all that stuff starts to fall into place.
Hey, 75, Mike's 56, Mike's 56, speed, Sunday, sit up.
Bortles changing the protection here. 3rd and 7. Nothing open, on the move when he likes to throw on the move. And on the sidelines, caught by Yeldon. Is he inbounds? They say yes. And a first down for T.J. Yeldon. Sean Williams, the tackle.
Well, first of all, nice job by Blake Bortles getting out of a play he didn't like. But look at the way that pass came out. Can you see the rotation on the ball? And Bortles admitted to us, he said, if I throw 15 passes, I may get 15 different throws. And that looked like one of them. And Kelvin Beachum knows full well about these Bengals. He's a former Steeler, and a little bit of that rivalry carrying over here.
Well, the play was whistled because the challenge flag was dropped by Marvin Lewis right on the sideline.
Cincinnati is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass.
Bortles rushed the Jaguars to the line. The replay showed it wasn't really secured in the hands of Yeldon. Timeout. T.J. Yeldon had a tough time catching that ball cleanly, and that affected getting the feet down. Looks like this is going to be overturned and incomplete.
And the ball sort of wobbling. It was a really tough ball to catch, but it looked like that right foot was off the ground by the time it finally settled into his hand. So T.J. Yeldon, second bobble so far early in this game.
And that was 3rd and 7. So if it is overturned and incomplete, Jacksonville will be punting the ball to Cincinnati. And here's Tony Correnti.
After review, the player was out of bounds. It was an incomplete pass. Therefore, it will be Cincinnati's ball, 4th down and 7 at the 28-yard line. With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 10 minutes and 50 seconds. 10:50. Thank you.
So Marvin Lewis wins that challenge, and the Jaguars will kick to the Bengals. And that's Alex Erickson, who's had a pretty good impact on special teams with a couple of returns, including an 80-yard touchdown return to this preseason.
Got a little farmer's tan going there, doesn't he?
Training camp tan, right?
Yeah.
Ryan Quigley, one of the two punters in camp here for Jacksonville. Ryan Quigley and Brad Nortman. Quigley will get the first shot. Erickson, rookie out of Wisconsin from a small town of 2,500. Big impact for the Badgers in Madison over the last couple of seasons.
Boy, they've got this blocked well.
From the 27, Erickson able to find some space and turn the corner, and he's knocked out of bounds. Shy of midfield, but a very nice return, and as you said, good special teams set up by Cincinnati. Here's that Jacksonville defense that struggled here in that opening drive. Ngakoue getting the start, the rookie on the edge. Malik Jackson is the acquisition from Denver that Chris mentioned at the top. The linebacking core is Paul Puslesny in the middle. We'll see Miles Jack, their second-round pick out of UCLA, as the night goes on. In the secondary, Prince Amukamara is there at corner, the former Giant. In the other corner, Jalen Ramsey, the number 5 overall selection out of Florida State. Expecting big things from him this season. Jeremy Hill on the screen. That too is well blocked. And Hill with a nice gain. Out to the Jaguars' 26-yard line. Pickup of 29.
Well, I think the Bengals have been reading the newspapers. The Jags trying to show that they can improve their pass rush. So what do? They hit them with a screen pass for a touchdown, hit them with another screen pass. That'll slow down that rush.
Good looking start in the first 5 minutes here for Dalton and the Bengals offense. Communicating out. Brandon LaFell, important player they want to see here. He's the receiver at the bottom of the screen. Replacing Marvin Jones as the option, along with A.J. Green, who in traffic can't pull that one down. And the safety, Deshaun Gibson, buzzing over to break that up.
Deshaun Gibson is the free agent signing that they are really excited about. You think about a guy like Earl Thomas in the middle of the field. Remember, this is all sort of a derivation of what Seattle runs. And here he comes. They didn't feel like they had that guy, that safety in the middle of the field that could cover sideline to sideline. There he is, making his first play of the night.
Devon House, the corner, also there. 2nd and 10. This is the side of the ball where the Jaguars need to show improvement, trying to step up here as Hill will gain only a yard, and penalty marker is down. Malik Jackson leading the charge on the stop. And here's Tony Correnti.
Personal foul, clipping with the roll-up block, offense number 89. 15-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
Ryan Hewitt, who's the H-back, he's a big blocker in Cincinnati's scheme.
All right, let's go right up here. There it is, and you're allowed to make that cut block, but a rule change they made a couple of years ago, that little roll that goes with it that we all learned in Pop Warner football is no longer legal. They're trying to protect the knees of these defensive linemen, and honestly, that's been well overdue.
So it's 2nd and 25, and Dalton slides out and finds A.J. Green. What else is new? 37-yard line. Green is gimpy and limping back towards the Cincinnati huddle.
Marvin Lewis may go get on the bus if A.J. Green and Adam Jones starting to limp around. He's just trying to get out of here healthy tonight. And the other thing, I'm a little surprised that they're not trying to force feed Brandon LaFell a little bit. They have to find out what they have in LaFell as far as being that 2nd or 3rd receiver on this offense.
Green stays in. He's the 2nd receiver from the top. It's 3rd and 20. And Dalton pulls it down and gets pulled down. Sacked by Jared Odrick, but the flag comes down after the would-be sack from the former Penn Stater. And there's Green heading back towards the sideline.
Holding, offense number 73. This penalty is declined. The result to a play creates 4th down.
Eric Winston, the tackle.
There's Winston right there. And there's Odrick on the inside. He's going to come on the little stunt around the top. But forget all that stuff.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, no offense to preseason football, but this is major stuff for the Cincinnati Bengals. Two of their best players have already limped off the field tonight, and Adam Jones and A.J. Green.
Kevin Hubert punted away for Cincinnati. Try to pin Rashad Green and the Jaguars back inside the 10. Get him right at the 10. All net to kick 31 yards. Stress for Cincinnati and their fans. Their star on the sideline. Miss a moment of Sunday Night Football with the NBC Sports app, available on your laptop, tablet, and connected TV devices. Watch at NBCSports.com/live or download the app. Back in Jacksonville, A.J. Green walking around on the sideline. A lot of concern on that Cincinnati sideline. Here's what happened 2 plays before the punt.
Keep an eye on that right leg. Kind of pivots off of it there and then just doesn't want to put any weight on it. And Bengals very young and very thin at wide receiver, especially with Tyler Eifert out.
It's an illegal snap. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
It's like Brandon Lindner, who is a new center, who played guard here for the longest time. We go back to the news of the day, though, right here. That right leg.
Right there when he takes the step, there was no contact. And I mentioned he stayed in the game, limped back to the huddle, took off on that route, but then as the play ended, immediately started limping back toward the Cincinnati sideline. The athletic training staff was looking at him through the timeout. First and 15, Bortles out of his own end zone, throws incomplete. Mercedes Lewis, the tight end, still going his 11th year here with Jacksonville, was the intended receiver.
I'll tell you, Geno Atkins is just destroying this offensive line for the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. He is a guy that probably has the nastiest bull rush. You know what I mean? Where you just take a guy and just throw him back into quarterback. And then this year, I've seen him working on spin moves. I've seen him working on quickness moves. I don't know how you block this guy.
He worked on Jokel on the left side of that line. Now he's moved over to the right side here. On 2nd and 15, it's a Chris Ivory carry, and he'll only gain a couple of yards, and it's that man Atkins, the all-pro, in on the tackle.
You'd think you'd be able to cut this guy off at some point, but he is quick, and he's just one of those guys. They call him the silent assassin in Cincinnati. He just doesn't say a word, but nobody's volunteering to line up across from that guy.
He led all the interior linemen in the NFL with sacks last year. Does it on the run, every down player. As you said before, it was a little test early on for Jokel at guard. That was a pretty tough test to handle. Yeldon on the 3rd and 12 run. They'll come up shy of the first down. It has not been a good start the first few drives here for the Jacksonville offense. And this is what Gus Bradley said. This is a great test because Cincinnati is a top-end team. Talent all over the field. Let's find out how good we think we are.
Yeah, number 2 scoring defense, just barely behind Seattle a season ago. And it's a team that kind of builds itself around pass rushers and cornerbacks. And now with all the cornerbacks hurt and A.J. Green hurt, I'm sure there's some people in Cincinnati going, let's just get him out of here.
Running clock.
Yeah.
Keep him safe. Erickson's going to let this one bounce.
That's not good. Erickson's in the battle to make this team. That was an opportunity. He's been really good on punt returns. He needed to get underneath that one.
Turns a 40-yard kick into 54 yards. Timeout. From the creators of Supernatural and The Shield, one team must defend the past to save our future. It's Timeless. Premieres Monday, October 3rd. Here on NBC. Mike Tirico in for Al Michaels with Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya back in Jacksonville. 7-0 Bengals. This is their 3rd drive. And Giovanni Bernard pushing the pile, keeping the legs churning. Impressive run to the 39-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Michelle.
Well, A.J. Green came to the sideline. They tested the stability of his right knee, and the training staff looked at the injury video review system. You can see that he's still on the sideline. I think I'm going to get word here in just moments. Let me get back to you.
Okay, Michelle, it's certainly a great benefit to the athletic training staff to have the ability to go back, look at the video, help diagnose those injuries as well.
Bet you Marvin Lewis didn't look at it.
2nd and 2, and on the inside run, good spin move by Bernard to the 48-yard line. Giovanni Bernard with a gain of 9 and a first down for Cincinnati.
I mean, there is just gaping holes in there against this defense. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but this is, they've been just wearing them out. Look at the gap that's going to open up in here. Young center Russell Bodine out in front gets Puzzlesny, and that's uncontested.
Telvin Smith, the other linebacker, who's whiffed on the tackle. This is a question mark of this Jacksonville team. Can they be a sturdy defense? That time, patient, good running by Bernard. He waited for Clint Bowling to get there, attach that block, and get a first down.
Yeah, great call, Mike. That's exactly what happened. You've got Jonathan Cyprian flying up, but you're going to get caught up in traffic out here, and you'll see Giovanni say, I think I'm going to wait on this big guy to get out in front of me. Ended up timing out perfectly. He kicks out Puzzlesny, and here we go again.
Hey, go on the hit now, on the hit. Hey, on the hit.
Yeah, this is a Cincinnati team that has the 2 young tackles, both in their 2nd year, taken in the 1st and 2nd round out of the lineup for injuries. Cedric Ogbuehi and Jake Fisher, both taken in last year's draft. Throwing towards the middle, Telvin Smith buzzing over to break up the pass. It's incomplete. Right back to Michelle.
Well, A.J. Green wasn't expected to play a whole lot more tonight anyway, so they're holding him out as a precautionary matter. That right knee, yeah, it got tweaked a little bit. They don't think it's anything serious. They think he'll be just fine and expected to play the next time they're ready to play, or for the opener certainly, but they do want to be precautionary and just keep him out, Mike.
Well, I hope that is the final diagnosis. Thanks, Michelle. That would be so important for Cincinnati. Andy Dalton already without few offensive weapons. Marvin Jones, Mohamed Sanu no longer with the team. We detailed the injuries to the tight ends earlier. Hill on the carry, and Jeremy Hill is stopped for no gain. Richard Ash, first-year defensive lineman, on the tackle. And Chris, this illustrates what we're talking about with the importance of A.J. Green.
Okay, let's scratch that out, and then how's it look? You know, that's going to be part of the problem here is that, you know, Marvin Jones now with Detroit, and this is a bunch that, you know, Marvin Lewis, I think, felt very comfortable with the group that he had, but unproven at best, no matter how comfortable you are. And I have not heard great reviews on Brandon LaFell so far out there as well.
Flag thrown as we had the movement and the finger pointing that follows. And Tony Correnti will get it sorted.
False start. Offense. The center. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
And they're cleaning up the center and his movement with the football this year as well. But it's a good point. And now, Chris, with the rest of the first-team offense in, as long as they stay in, we'll get to see LaFell, the rookie Boyd, and see what they can do.
You know, but this is for practice out here. So, if you know, and Ken Zampese's way smarter than I am, but I would throw 10 balls to those 2 guys and just find out, because now you've just got to establish a little relationship. This is LaFell's first game. And there's Tyler Boyd, the outstanding rookie they're so excited about. But these guys, we need to see them.
30 seconds, timeout.
Timeout taken by Cincinnati as they get sorted out. So Cincinnati wants to see that. They want to see what's going on the offensive side, especially now without A.J. Green at receiver. Let's flip it over to the other side and Gus Bradley and what he wants to see out of this defense, where there's some veterans added that we've talked about, but also some young players who are being put into the middle of this and trying to get it done while the offense builds.
Yeah, and you just don't know when they're going to be ready, right? Dante Fowler, who was the number 3 overall pick a season ago, got hurt. He's working his way back in. Miles Jack is trying to learn a position that he doesn't even know, playing that middle linebacker position. Puzzlesny's trying to teach him how to do that. Jalen Ramsey, a great corner they drafted out of FSU, but you just haven't seen it come together yet.
This is Gus Bradley's side of the ball. He's defensive coordinator with Pete Carroll in Seattle before getting this job. 3rd and 15, crossing to C.J. Uzomah, the tight end. He'll be shy of the first down, and there is Jalen Ramsey, that first-round draft pick Chris spoke of, making the tackle.
You know, and one of the other things we really haven't hit on that much is the fact that we talked about the double injuries and all the different things that are going on, but at tight end with Tyler Eifert and a guy named Tyler Croft in there, these are the 2 guys that they'd really like to work that offense around.
From here, a field goal will be 55 yards. Marvin Lewis decides to go for it on 4th and 5. Jaguars bring 5. Dalton completes it for the first down. That's Tyler Boyd, who Chris just spoke of, the second-round pick, record setter at Pittsburgh. The rookie moves the chains.
One of the things you have to be careful about with Andy Dalton, he is at his best when people are trying to come after him. As a matter of fact, the 7 interceptions that he threw last year were all when there was no pressure at all. So when he sits back there and has a chance to look and try and force it down the field, but when you blitz, he is a very, very productive quarterback. Picked up the 4th down there.
Ken Zampese's been his quarterback coach Dalton's entire time in Cincinnati. Now the offensive coordinator. Pass underneath to Giovanni Bernard. Will be marked up about the 22-yard line.
You know, Hugh Jackson goes off now as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, and you know Hugh is a big personality, right?
Yeah.
And he sort of worked his way through with Andy Dalton and all these guys and built them into big, confident pro football players. And Ken Zampese is a guy that is an excellent X's and O's quarterback coach, been with Dalton all this time. But you just wonder sometimes, that big personality leaves the room, what happens next?
2nd and 4, Jeremy Hill to the left. Really, guards are throwing some good blocks for Cincinnati. First down at the 13-yard line. That was Kevin Zeitler pulling around and leading the way.
I tell you, C.J. Uzama, the tight end on the outside, getting it done as well. We know he might be able to block. They're just going to pull out here in front, block down. Very efficient-looking offense here tonight. They really haven't done anything that hasn't worked. There's hopefully the answer at tight end for them. C.J. Uzama, number 87, until these tight ends get back.
Uzama in his 2nd year out of Auburn. From the 14, Dalton throws incomplete for James Wright. So you know the exploits at LSU of Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry's down in Miami. Jarvis Wright couldn't get on the field because of those guys. He had played earlier in his career. Got to his senior year, and all the balls that LSU threw, from Zach Mettenberger, by the way, went to Odell and to Jarvis. So he became a special teamer. He didn't play virtually any offense his senior year. Special teams, some injuries, hasn't found his way to the football field yet, but opportunity at the wide receiver spot here in Cincinnati. Hill on the toss, down to the 6-yard line. We'll bring it up 3rd and short.
Don't you think it's a little interesting to watch Jeremy Hill? Of course, we remember the Pittsburgh Steelers playoff game, and it was his fumble that set up the Ben Roethlisberger come from behind win in that game. We had a chance to talk with him last night, and he says, I own it. You know, he was not backing away from it. Said teammates wanted to point their finger at me. I accepted all of it, and he has been workmanlike so far this season.
On 3rd and 3, Dalton. Nobody open, keeping it alive. Pumping and goes down right near the mark for the first down. Just inside the 4-yard line. Jared Odrick touches him down. That should move the chains in 1st and goal for Cincinnati here as the quarter comes to an end.
You realize as a quarterback, it's your job to stay healthy. And when it's preseason, it's really your job to stay healthy. You can see kind of the mixed emotions he had, whether or not to run that one.
I'm keeping this play alive. Nobody else is helping me. I'm going to keep myself alive and get down. End of the 1st quarter. Cincinnati 7 and Jacksonville nothing. And NBC's Sunday Night Football will continue after these messages. 2nd quarter. His 3rd preseason game. Jaguars 0-2 on the preseason. Bengals are 1-1. Lost by a point to the Vikings. Handled the Lions 30-14.
Right now, this offensive line of the Bengals is handling the Jaguars.
Yes, they are. Impressive 1st quarter performance, 122 yards from Cincinnati. It's 1st and goal from just outside the 3. And Jeremy Hill pulled down by Paul Posluszny, gain of about 1.5 yards.
No question. The story of this first half so far has been the play of the Bengals offensive line. Young center Russell Bodine out in front, leading the way. Big, powerful guy. Kevin Zeitler working his way around this time. A little bit of the old Green Bay sweep or whatever you want to call it. And then they get out in front of this screen pass, and it's a walk-in for Giovanni Bernard.
Cincinnati loading up with big people here, and Jacksonville couldn't get the personnel matched
Timeout.
up.
Jacksonville, their first, a 30-second timeout.
And they take a timeout 30 seconds into this second quarter. So tell me what Gus Bradley would be thinking, because we're not the only ones putting the hype out there with Jacksonville. This is a division, the AFC South, where nobody's a dominant team right now, and Gus wanted to see his guys against a really good team, and Cincinnati is. Wonder how he's feeling right now after a quarter.
Not so good. You know, and you know Gus, and he's a defensive guy from Seattle and up there with Pete Carroll and all those guys. What you want to see more than anything in a game like this is you want to see your guys physically compete. You want to see that when they get up against an offensive line like this, they can stymie those guys and they can start to use their speed and quickness to get off and make plays. And so far, none of that's happening for Jacksonville.
That's got to be the disappointing part. Physically, they're not matching what Cincinnati's bringing.
Yep. Oh, man coverage on the outside. You want to see what these young receivers might be able to do. Tyler Boyd down at the bottom.
Hill runs to the right. Puslesny starts, gets some company, and it will be a very minimal game. 3rd and goal coming up. Now, if you're thinking, okay, we're dominating on the offensive line, you want to score points, that's the normal regular season mentality. But I love the way you're thinking. Let me see what these guys can do under some pressure here.
Yeah, you know, Puslesny, I think, got a drink of water and started breathing again. That was a heck of a play by him. I think he'd heard enough of my chirping up here.
Puslesny been in the league 10 years. Terrific linebacker in his college days at Penn State and Buffalo. His career started with the Bills. Now year 5 here at Jacksonville. 3rd and goal. Dalton tries to thread it. Incomplete for LaFell, but the flag is down. Prince Amukamara in coverage.
Pass interference, defense number 21. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line and an automatic first down.
Really a pretty clever route here by LaFell. Watch him go, be patient, fake hard, and then go in. And Amukamara just grabs him. LaFell's got that injured thumb, and they were concerned about whether or not they should. Is he going to be okay? They're going to have to shut him down. And he said, no, get me out there. I can catch it. And we're going to see.
This is preseason debut tonight. So 1st and goal for the one. Hill tries to go high and airborne and is brought down. Good defense by Jacksonville and some penetration from Tyson Alualu to start it.
And Dan the Scooter came in there and followed it up. Got Jeremy Hill right in the top of the pile. Here he goes right here. Tell you what, they're not rolling over, are they?
Well, this is the 16th play of the drive here. Jacksonville's watched 4 snaps from inside the 5. Hill's going to try the outside. Go for the pylon and get there. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
It's not often that you see a guy that big, 235 pounds, that can bounce out and make this play. Let's check and make sure he got this ball across the pylon. Yeah, it looked like it was inside the pylon, right?
Yeah, he's got to check
the knee goes
is it
down.
sliding back there?
I think it's across the line. Jeremy Hill scored a touchdown against Detroit and just sprinted off the field as if to say, I'm not dancing anymore, not doing anything. I know I had the fumble. This is serious business now.
He just stopped to take a look at this. And in the replay booth, they confirmed that he was in. Broke the plane before the knee came down. Adam Jones with a word for Hill. Bernard scored a touchdown reception. Hill on the run. And Zach Hocker this time gets his opportunity to add the extra point. So a long drive by Cincinnati pays off with the touchdown. And the Bengals are on top 14-0. Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys, but there's an even better reason for your regular play-by-play man not to be here. As Al Michaels and his wonderful wife Linda celebrate 50 years of marriage. Look at that picture.
I think my boy outkicked his coverage.
And talk about aging gracefully. They both look just as youthful and just as spectacular. We got a chance to spend a lot of time with them in Rio. You guys are on the road with them. Happy anniversary, Al and Linda. Happy number 50.
That is awesome.
Great.
Last time I was around him on his anniversary, we were in Sochi at the Olympics over there.
Yeah.
And Al arranged rocks on the beach in the form of a heart with Linda written in the middle of it.
Did he really? That's the best.
That was a good thing. As a husband, believe me, that was a good thing.
We can all steal that one from him.
We can steal that one.
That was awesome. Well, happy anniversary. Jaguars kickoff taken back by Corey Grant. Grant across the 20. Does not get out to the 25-yard line. Could have taken that with a touchback. So Blake Bortles last year, second in the NFL. Surprised some folks with his 35 touchdown passes. And where is that for a guy in his first or second year? Well, it's behind Marino and Warner. So impressive company to be kept. However, you drop back that many times, you get hit a lot. 106 sacks the last 2 years. It's the most in NFL history in the first 2 seasons. And remember, he didn't start his first 3 games of his career, taking over the job his rookie season after Chad Henne got the season started.
Green is shot.
We're having some snap issues here.
False start. Offense, number 5. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Linder, the center, snapped it too early. Now Bortles pulled out before the snap.
You know, I guess it's a good thing for them to play on national television and just maybe get some of these jitters out of the way, but you don't see that one a whole lot, you know, and obviously Blake Bortles trying to get something going with this team and his new center when offensive line just a rock in there, and he was the one that moved.
So from the 18-yard line, Bortles' throw is broken up. Terrific coverage by Chucky Brown.
You know, Shockey Brown is a really interesting guy. You watch him sometimes, and people say in practice that he just makes plays like that all the time, that you'll see him break up and take care of business. And then every once in a while, he'll have one like he had, I think, in the first preseason game where he sits on a route and the guy runs by him by 20 yards for a touchdown. So if he could develop some consistency, I think the feeling is he could be a really good player for the Bengals.
Remember, the Bengals are down 3 quarterbacks, essentially. It's flung out to Marquise Lee, former second-round pick out of USC, going to gain just about 3 yards. Carlos Dansby over to make the tackle.
You know, Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator, has been working with Blake Bortles on this motion just a little bit. Watch how he sort of dips that thing down and then around. In the National Football League, that 1/10 of a second that it takes to do that is something that you really need to work out. And they're working hard on some mechanics, some of his footwork. It's amazing the kind of success that he has had already. And you get the feeling there's still growth to be had with him.
Olson, his second year as offensive coordinator. He's had that job in Oakland and Tampa and St. Louis, Detroit along the way. This 3rd and 11. And that throw is a perfect spot to Allen Hurns. And the first down at the 40-yard line.
Got to say, I'm a fan of this guy. Allen Hurns, undrafted, came out 10 touchdown passes a year ago, got a big contract. But the thing I like most about the Jacksonville receivers, these 2 guys are about as tough as they come. Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson, you can throw the ball anywhere. They will not flinch. They are talented guys.
39-yard line, TJ Yeldon. Nice cutback here. And open space for Yeldon. 21 on the gain to the 40-yard line. Jacksonville first down.
That gives you a little idea of what TJ Yeldon's all about. For a big back, he has the ability to not just run over people and play good in the passing game, but he can make people miss in the open field just like that. An exciting back, and I think, Mike, when you combine that with the power of Chris Ivory, it's going to serve this team very well over the long haul.
Sean Williams missed that tackle. Officially a gain of 23 as it's marked at the 38. And now here's Ivory. And that That initial penetration from Geno Atkins gave Dansby a chance to get there along with Vinny Ray and make the stop.
You know, Luke Jokel is in there learning how to play the guard position, and it doesn't get any tougher than this. Going against Geno Atkins right there. Watch this move. And Jokel does the right thing. He's got to jump out there because of the quickness of Atkins, but Atkins quick enough to go behind him and still get in on the play.
Second and 12. It was bringing pressure. Ivory with the catch. Inside the 35, brought down at the 33-yard line. And Chris, you just mentioned Joker. Let's go back to that. Here's a high draft pick, number 2 pick, and he's bumped into guard because they get Kelvin Beachum, a man who played left tackle for Pittsburgh, injured his ACL last year. And this is the first action that Beachum is seeing in the lineup and next to Jokel.
Yeah, and not doing too badly either. You know, Kelvin Beachum is a guy that was a 7th-round draft choice himself, but one of the highest-rated guards that we had in the league just a couple of years ago, got hurt last season. But he is one of those guys that he just is steady. You just don't see people beat him consistently. He's going to protect Blake Bortles.
Timeout.
Bortles didn't like what he saw there. Timeout. 4th drive for Jacksonville. Best looking one so far. Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns, the 2 receivers Chris was talking about before. Let's turn the clock back 3 decades in NBC. The A-Team, remember that show? Well, these guys put on a show, both over 1,000 yards, both double-digit touchdown receptions, and again, very young in their 2nd season. As a matter of fact, the first time teammates under 25 both had 1,000+ yards receiving and 10 or more touchdowns in a season. It's rare, Chris, that you get 2 in the same year. They really got 3, and Marquise Lee was the guy who was drafted highest. Robinson later in the 2nd round, Hurns not at all. And those are their 3 receivers. All came the same year as Bortles, who throws complete to Robinson for the first down at the 27-yard line.
Blake Bortles loves throwing on the run, but watch Allen Robinson, really one of the top-end players in this game. 14 touchdowns a year ago, a 42-inch vertical jump. Now, you've been around the NBA a little bit. Talk to me about 42-inch vertical jumps.
Pretty special.
I mean, that's like Michael Jordan kind of stuff, right? I mean, that's really off the charts.
A guy at 6'3" who could dunk earlier in his career before he had that significant growth. Yeldon with the carry to the left. I mean, here's a guy who had a real legitimate season. It's not just stacking up numbers on a team that was bad or was behind in games, and got to the Pro Bowl and got to hang with the other people, the company he belongs to keep in this league.
Yeah, 80 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 14 touchdowns. That is legitimate. And he's a guy whose average depth of throws is over 16 yards. There's only Ted Ginn for Carolina that had anything longer than that.
2nd and 9 play action. Bortles looking to Robinson, and Chucky Brown had a hand on him, so it will be a flag against the Bengals corner. Move Jacksonville down inside the red zone.
Pass interference, defense number 23. Automatic first down.
Well, there it is, one of those plays that I was talking about. He'll make something great and then good. But watch how Allen Robinson really wanted the outside release. But he's such a student of the game, you know, and he talked about that. He wants to be a coach one day. And I think he said, what are you doing, man? But he really has a nice feel for when it's time to ad-lib a bit and go make a play down the field. I hope they get a chance to just throw one up in the air. I want to see him go 42-inch vertical on one.
Spread him out and run Yeldon inside to the 1-yard line. And it'll be 2nd and goal. Isn't that interesting? You don't get many 3rd-year players who say, I want to be a coach. The guys at the top of their game. And now Bortles going to jump the ball here and try to keep Cincinnati in this personnel.
Sunday. Hey, easy. Let's go 74. 74. Hey, 5-0. You gone? Yeah, Cannon. 5-0. Let's do it. 5-0. Monday, green 80.
Love it. You can see the command Bortles has of this offense. Did he get him to the right play? Good play by Drake Kirkpatrick on the corner, and the pass intended for Marquise Lee. And the official's going to jump right in the middle of this woofing. That's something they're trying to clean up this year.
Yeah. I tell you, Dre Kirkpatrick is a guy who he gets picked on a lot. Adam Jones on the other side, so they're going to throw it over this way. But he keeps getting better, you know, and he's going to have to this year. I mean, I hope Adam Jones is fine, but with Darquez Denard hurt, William Jackson, the draft pick, not able to play at least for tonight and well into the season, it's going to be on Dre Kirkpatrick to make plays just like that.
Jackson, the first-round pick out of Houston. So it's 3rd and goal. And Bortles flinging it out to Hayes Pillard, the 3rd, who normally lines up as a linebacker.
Illegal substitution. Number 52 did not report.
Didn't report, yeah.
5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
We've all been well schooled that players are going to report, and it's going to be clearly mentioned. Remember the Baltimore-New England playoff game? That became an issue, and from that point on, over the last year plus, the guys out there, it's clearly communicated to both sides and everybody in the stadium.
Do you know how bad a mistake that is in the life of Hayes Pillard? He scored a touchdown on national television, and he didn't go in and say, hey, I'm eligible.
Linebacker out of USC.
He's going to come right out here in the flat. Well done. Michael Johnson got a little hold of him, but he was going to be telling that story for the rest of his life. Blake Bortles can't believe it. Oh boy. Burns out there directing traffic.
Trying to get Ivory in the right spot. And a flag.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
And that one was on Beachum, who's been around. It's his 5th year in the league. But we're seeing a little bit, Chris, of we're talented, but we're young. And we're not ready just yet for everything people are saying about us.
You know, and Gus Bradley was talking about it. He said, what defines success for Kelvin Beachum and Luke Joeckel tonight? First time they've played these positions. Is it going to be perfect? It's not going to be perfect, but could it help us grow in the long term? They're pretty settled from center over on the right side. They just got to figure it out on the left now.
3rd and goal. Bortles on the run. Incomplete for Julius Thomas. And broken up by Duron Smith, the backup safety.
This Duron Smith's getting a long look here tonight. He is a guy that had a pick 6 against the Lions and really turned that game around, and you could tell that Marvin Lewis really wanted to take a look at this young man. A bit of a scramble play, and here he's going to break underneath, and they just can't find a way to get the ball to Julius Thomas so far.
They could get him going with the way the receivers performed last year. Sam Fickett out of Penn State will get this opportunity to kick. Doinked it off the upright, and it ricochets in. This team that had its struggles with the kicking last year. Jason Myers, the regular kicker, missed 7 extra points.
That thing kicked straight right. I've never seen one do that and stay in.
Kyle Larson, good win in Michigan, get himself a spot in the chase. Next week, NASCAR to Darlington. Race the spirit of the 70s, racing from Darlington next Sunday, 6 Eastern on NBC. Vincent Ray, by the way, went to Bayside High School. Do you know anybody else who went to Bayside High School?
You.
That's it.
There you go.
That's the only reason I mentioned it. Sam Fickett. With the kick, it'll be Brandon Tate to bring it back. And Tate made 2 men miss and gets to the 20-yard line before being pulled down. Really has been wide receiver. Pretty good special teamer with the stop. Defense wasn't good. Got to get better. Malik Jackson from the Super Bowl champs. Dante Fowler, last year's first-round pick who didn't play because of injury. This year's first-round pick. Jalen Ramsey, Miles Jack, who slipped in the draft because he was injured, but very talented. Deshaun Gibson, safety with Cleveland. And Prince Mukamara from the Giants, a free agent, to try to bolster the secondary. So, new faces, some old and experienced, some young, some in the prime of their career, trying to find a way to get Jacksonville a little bit better defensively as they go against A.J. McCarron now, the backup quarterback in For Cincinnati, complete to Brandon LaFell, a gain of 9, and here's Michelle.
Well, Mike, Malik Jackson admitted to me that the $90 million contract the Jaguars offered him was overwhelming. And he said, everyone's looking at you, even the guys in the locker room. I want them all to think he is who we believed he would be. But he said it can be tough. Fans stop you. They say, you're the one we've been waiting for. And coaches keep reminding him to relax. But that 90 next to your name, there's a lot more pressure, he said, Mike.
Next to that number, too.
Maybe take a different number, right? That's great, Michelle. Thanks. 2nd and 2. And Cedric Pearman now in the game as the Bengals have gone to their second team offense. And Pearman is pulled down by Devon House, the corner. And Pearman's going to the sideline. I think he got hurt on that play. He did. The way he was pulled down, he went right to the sideline in pain.
Pearman, it's like he hooked that arm and then just, I won't guess, I don't know. It's the old rule at NBC, don't speculate on injuries. I won't speculate.
Rex Burkhead is not playing tonight, so Trey Carson, rookie out of Texas A&M, comes in for A.J. McCarron. And A.J. will run for the first down, sliding forward, so we'll get the full slide down at the 34. Boy, Chris, did he come in and really keep a good season going for Cincinnati, helping get them to the playoffs at the end, and played very well, especially the fourth quarter against Pittsburgh in that wild card loss.
Well, and you think what he did, he came in and they went to Denver with him as a backup quarterback, almost beat the eventual world champions out there, comes back, they've got Pittsburgh beat, basically give that game away at the end of it. So he is a guy that actually is better when the spotlight is on.
First and 10 run for Carson. And we get down to the 38-yard line. You mentioned the spotlight, Chris, the back-to-back BCS National Championships, 2011 and 2012 at Alabama. And it was always about everything around him and not him. Then he comes in, he's injured, doesn't get off to the quick start here with the Bengals as a backup. But when they turned to him, he was able to keep the offense going. He didn't do the things Andy Dalton did. Dalton was having a spectacular season, as you said, but the more you watched him, the more you said he can play in the NFL.
There's really no question about it. And when you talk to these coaches about him, you say he's such a regular guy. He really fits into that locker room, and that really helps with offensive linemen, too.
No cut back for Carson there. Telvin Smith, the third-year man out of Florida State, comes up with a stop.
Now they played this stretch play very well. There's Telvin Smith, who's a speed guy. They're actually hoping that Myles Jack and Telvin Smith will eventually be the nickel linebackers. And, you know, there's so much nickel being played now, like 62% of the game, whatever. But if they can get more speed on the field, they have those two linebackers. They've got Tashawn Gibson at safety now. They've got Jalen Ramsey. That's what they're looking for, to look a little more like Seattle's flying around out there.
Jack 44 in the middle of that defense. Four-man rush here. McCarron completes it. Go low to bring down James Wright. But he holds on. Mugamara with the tackle for the first down for Cincinnati at their own 45. That's Pearman. And they're putting that arm in a brace. So it was hooked by House and pulled down. And that's a contributor, especially on special teams. Pro Bowl special teamer.
Been a tough night already for the Bengals. Just hope that none of them are too serious. Still haven't seen quite enough out of Brandon LaFell yet.
LaFell still in the game. The start is still out there for Cincinnati. Tough running for Carson, not going to go very far. Telvin Smith again over there with Myles Jack on the tackle. Well, Chris, this is what you're talking about. In pairs, a couple of tight ends, a couple of tackles, a couple of corners.
Yeah, let me give you a couple you don't know probably. This guy right here, Tyler Croft, they would have felt absolutely fine about the idea of missing Tyler Eifert for a little bit. And then these two young tackles, you go, okay, one of them gets hurt and hopefully he'll be back, and the other one gets hurt. Right. And they missed all that development time. I mean, they drafted those two guys high last year, and so the exhibition season hasn't been a great test run yet for the Cincinnati Bengals because they didn't get to develop some of those young players.
Bronson Hill in the game at running back, and the play clock ran out on McCarron.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
There's Mike Brown, president of the Cincinnati Bengals. This franchise has really done a terrific job in terms of turning things around. This franchise was not known for stability and consistency and the selection of players, and look what they've done here over the last 7-8 years. Tremendous build from the draft. And it's not just Mike Brown. Marvin Lewis deserves a lot of credit. Duke Tobin deserves a bunch of the credit as well.
Finally, continuity out of Cincinnati. It seemed like they were firing coaches every few years, and finally found somebody that works with Marvin Lewis.
McCarron saw there was nothing going on in that play and just threw it into the ground. It's an incomplete pass, and it'll be third down. Here's Michelle.
Well, you saw Cedric Pearman. He was in a great deal of pain. They put a vacuum splint on that left arm, and it supports, it basically turns into a splint for that forearm and elbow. He is done for the night, guys, and it is confirmed it's that left forearm.
And not just that other running back. As we said, they've got the great two-headed monster, but the successful special teams that Darren Simmons has run here at Cincinnati. Pearman's been a big part of that over this 5-year run. A.J. Green hurt earlier. Adam Jones hurt in warm-ups. 3rd and 15, they'll run Bronson Hill. And the running back out of Eastern Michigan is shy of midfield, and Cincinnati will kick it away as we wind down to the 2-minute warning.
Now you get the feeling Marvin Lewis has seen all that he needs to see, right? He got the big night out of his offensive line, out of the running game. Andy Dalton was sharp. A couple of injuries. Let's get out of Dodge.
2-minute warning here in Jacksonville. See the Jaguars 2-minute offense on the other side. Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Samsung. Do more with the new Galaxy Note 7. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded car company 2 years in a row. Well, the Miami area, St. Thomas Aquinas, terrific high school. They repeated as the Florida State champs last winter. Among the school's alums, Giovanni Bernard there on the right, Geno Atkins on the left. Kevin Huber kicks the way for the Bengals, and a great effort by Brandon Tate before it crossed the plane. And let's see if Cincinnati is successfully down that. Nope, it did. Touchback, so it'll take it back out to the 20-yard line. And a flag thrown at the back end of it. What about the offensive line play for the Jaguars?
This is really the entirety of what we're looking at here tonight for Jacksonville. And Kelvin Beachum coming back for his first action since that knee injury has been pretty solid. You know, you just have to say he doesn't look that much different than he did in Jacksonville. And then for Luke Jokel, he's got the impossible task of blocking Geno Atkins. But after a slow start on that one, he's been hanging in there. And that's really his strength, Mike, is when he gets his ability to get his hands on guys, doesn't have to play out there in space and worry about all those quick moves.
A member of the kicking team went out of bounds, came back in, and was first to touch the ball. Therefore, by rule, this will be a touchback, first down, and a 5-yard penalty will be added to it. The ball will be placed at the 25-yard line.
It's an interesting transition, Chris, because not only do you have all that going on with Jokel, he's a rookie in his 4th year, means we're in a contract year with a guy who is highly paid. Now you're going to go into guard, and if you have success there, maybe you won't make the same money that you would if you're back at left tackle.
Yeah, but, you know, give him credit. He hasn't been fighting it, but let's face it, it wasn't very good at left tackle.
Right.
So if he can find a position and they think he might be a good one for a long time, now we're going to get a chance to see him at left tackle.
That's right, limiting Beachum snaps. It's his first game. 2-minute drill for Jacksonville will start here, but it's an incompletion as Hearns came out of his shoe.
Yeah, and here's Jokel playing left tackle for the first time out here, and unfortunately we've seen this a little too much. A little bull rush and put Jokel right on his back. So, you know, I think he's a big, strong guy, obviously athletic. He's just got to find a position and put it all together here.
Green 80. Green is up.
So 2nd and 10 for Blake Bortles, and it's a sideline throw. He's brought in for the first down. It's Rashad Green. There he is, 2nd-year man out of Florida State, on injured reserve for part of last year.
One of the top punt returners in the game. He'll unquestionably make the team because of that. There's some questions about where those next spots will be.
Hey, yo, stab it, stab it.
You got Brian Walters Also on this team, that 4th, 5th receiver, Aurelius Ben, trying to make a name here in camp again. It is thrown towards Robinson. Somehow he pulled that in with Chucky Brown all over him, but he might be short of that first down on 3rd and 4.
Mike, I don't know if you can see this throwing motion from Bortles, but it really does have a pretty good loop in there. Now they're going to decide to not go for it, and the crowd's saying, wait a minute, this is preseason. We paid a lot of money. The games don't count. Get your butts out there. Watch the way Bortles drops this ball down a little bit, I don't know, like a pitcher or something would. But as soon as that ball moves down, defensive backs are moving towards the ball. And that's what you want to try and limit as much as you can.
And guys who can close quick, we just give them another chance to get there quickly. Kicking it away. Brandon Tate won't get his hands on it as it goes out of bounds with 51 seconds left here in the first half. Cincinnati on top by 11. Toyota halftime coming up. Chris and I will preview the kickoff of the NFL season. A couple of terrific games for you on NBC. And then Carrie Underwood takes you behind the scenes of the new Sunday Night Football Open. All coming up at halftime.
Too bad Carrie's not talented, huh? We were out there for that shoot with Al Michaels. Oh my goodness, what a superstar she is.
Do you sing background on the song?
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Way in the back.
51 seconds left. That was only a 25-yard punt. You see what McCarron can do with it. It's Bronson Hill out of the backfield. Pushed to the sideline by Telvin Smith. Limited gain.
It's really been interesting for me to watch Miles Jack work in that middle linebacker position. He never played there in college. He played everywhere else, you know. He was out there running back and played all these positions. But the reason they're doing it is they want him to be the signal caller so that he has to learn the entirety of this defense. And they think wherever he ends up playing, that's going to serve him well.
Cincinnati 2 timeouts from the 42. McCarron. Not had much of a pass rush tonight. Bronson Hill will take it out of bounds. It's an interesting approach to it with a linebacker, a young linebacker. Get him ingrained in the middle, the position he likely will inherit from Paul Posluszny. At the same time, he's cross-trained, so if you do get him on the field, he can hop out there and knows the positions.
Yeah, and Posluszny is going to be the starting middle linebacker when they start the season. Their hope is that eventually Posluszny will teach him enough, and he's been unbelievable about this, training the young kid. And so the hope is Posluszny comes off, takes some snaps off of him, extend his career, and let the speed guys take over in the nickel.
Snap issues on 3rd and 4, and McCarron just goes down to save it here with 34 seconds left. The Jaguars will stop the clock. Happened to T.J. Johnson, the 7th-round draft pick out of 2013.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 36 seconds. 36.
Miles Jack, take a look at him. He was all everything when he was at UCLA. It was amazing to watch some of the tape on him because he played inside, he played on the slot. You know, they hand him the ball, they let him run the football. This is him as a running back. Don't look at the defensive guys now.
He had a 4-touchdown game as a running back.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he was the offensive rookie of the year and defensive rookie of the year. Which, have you ever heard anything like that?
No, as voted by the Pac-12 coaches.
Unbelievable.
Pretty darn good. And then he had the injury 3 games into the season. So it was almost an immediate decision. He's going to go pro and rehabbed and prepared for such. And Jacksonville getting him in here and hoping that his health continues to hold up here through the preseason as he learns the linebacker position. Marquise Lee is going back to get this punt, has it on the run of the 17, and Lee gets 18 yards of return out to the 35-yard line. There's the receiver back there on the punt return.
Talked about the motion of Blake Bortles, and he's working on this, but take a look. From the minute that motion starts, when that hand dips down, it has to come back around, and that is a much longer motion. Think of the Tom Brady's and the Peyton Mannings and the Aaron Rodgers and Tony Romos. They're down around 0.3 seconds. And because of that little loop, he's at 0.47 seconds, almost 0.2 of a second. You know, think about some of the Olympic sprinters that we saw.
Right.
0.2 of a second is, you know, plenty of room to attack the football for the DBs.
27 seconds. Jacksonville out of timeouts. Allen Hurns underneath to the 40-yard line. A few yards shy of the first down. Again, trying to get guys organized without timeouts.
Frustrating night for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And it's going to be a false start inside of a minute with a running clock and no timeouts.
Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. By rule, the game clock must run 10 seconds off. With the game clock, operator, please reset the game clock to 1 second.
And it's going to start with the snap, too, so they'll have to be at the line ready to run a play, or else they're not going to get a play going here and just call it a day and call it a half.
That's what Tony's telling him right now. He said, you better get up there. Goodbye.
Yeah, we'll run it, and we'll run it to the locker room here for halftime. Not a good half for Jacksonville as they're trying to prove what level they're on. Cincinnati offensively looks strong. 14-3 at the break. Up next, Toyota halftime. But first, these messages from your local NBC station. Recognizes August as Play Football Month, celebrating all youth and high school football players and coaches around the country. In partnership with USA Football, Play Football is focused on giving kids a safe and rewarding experience on the field. You can go to playfootball.com to get in the game this season. Quarter 3 here in Jacksonville at Everbank Field. Mike Tirico in for Al Michaels along with Chris Collinsworth and Michelle Tafoya. 14-3 Cincinnati with the lead. Alex Erickson back to take Sam Ficken's third quarter kickoff. And this warm night temperature in the low 80s throughout the day. High humidity and 70-75%. Sunday Night Football buzz. And what was going early was the Cincinnati offense. A long drive. Andy Dalton looked good. 6 of 10, 77 yards. Touchdown to Giovanni Bernard. Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville offense struggled. 25 plays, 90 yards total for the Jaguars in the first half. The good 1-2 punch of Hill and Bernard. Impact felt both on the ground and through the air. But this season of injuries leading up to the start of the regular season continues for Cincinnati. A.J. Green injured early. Adam Jones before the game. Andy Dalton played into the second quarter, and now it's A.J. McCarron for his third series, and that pass was incomplete. Here's Michelle Tafoya.
Well, I talked to Gus Bradley at halftime, and he said this is the kind of adversity we needed to face, and our offense hadn't faced it yet in the preseason. He wants them, though, to be able to clean up the mistakes and bounce back from the mistakes they made, like turnovers and so forth. But he also liked the way his team played physical and tough. He still believes this is a good test that's going to pay off in their opener.
Well, they are young. We do know that. They have an opener here against Green Bay in a couple of weeks. And to Michelle's point of the typical Gus Bradley answer, hey, bring us the Packers. Bring us a terrific team to get the season started. Let's see exactly where we are. Trey Carson with that carry for the gain of a yard.
Well, and they'll tell you the plan was to have it ready for next year. That they drafted the offense and they built that, and that was pretty good, even though it hasn't been very good here tonight. It's been pretty good. And now they went to work on the defense. And I think they understood full well that in the National Football League, you just don't line up with a bunch of rookies and players that don't have a lot of experience and go beat the Green Bay Packers and Pittsburgh Steelers and Cincinnati Bengals on a regular basis.
3rd and 9 for McCarron. Trying to go down the sideline. It is brought in by Cody Core. And the 5th-round pick out of Ole Miss takes it to the 21-yard line.
Boy, I tell you, if you're a young man trying to make a team, how do you want to make an impression? Go get a deep ball. Little push off there at the back end of that thing, but a little hand fighting and all of that, sort of a professional move. A.J. McCarron, perfectly thrown ball, and somehow, some way, with A.J. McCarron, it doesn't always look perfect, but he seems to go up and down the field and score points for the Cincinnati Bengals.
54 on that one to Core, who played opposite Laquan Treadwell at Ole Miss. Now the slant inside. Alex Erickson breaks a tackle and is in for the touchdown. There's opportunity for the receivers here, and Erickson finishes off after Core took it down the field.
And you've got Miles Jack here is going to move in that way. And as he moved away with the play fake, there was just that little void in the zone right there. Jack's going to flash across, and for Erickson, he has had a tremendous preseason. And was Jack playing a new position, and he should react to the run in that way. But back-to-back young players, Cody Core, Alex Erickson, making plays that may put them on the Cincinnati Bengals football team.
Mike Nugent adds the extra point. This is a talented roster. It's one of those teams that you look and you say, when they get down to 53, there are going to be some other players who people try and get their hands on.
No doubt.
21-3 Cincinnati.
Ken Zampese, the new offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, just drew up a gem there. They're going to fake that way, so everybody's got to go. Watch Miles Jack come here, and then the ball is just going to come right where he was in behind a zone defense. So really not man coverage, not the fault of Gratz. Just a very cleverly designed play by Ken Zampese, and his family's been drawing him up in clever ways for a long, long time. Old Papa Ernie Zampese with San Diego and Dallas he's been a part of some of the great offenses anywhere. Dan Fouts, I played against that offense. It was like a track meet. And then, of course, Troy Aikman and what they did there in Dallas. Gene Pool is strong between those two men.
And Kenny, as we said, the first half's been around Cincinnati for a while and elevated to that offensive coordinator position this year. Penalty marker down on the kickoff as Josh Johnson returns it just shy of the 15-yard line. And this flag thrown once again, just a few yards from where the kickoff took place. Cincinnati called for offside on a kickoff earlier tonight. And here's Tony Correnti again. 12 penalties in the first half.
Offside, kicking team number 40. Jacksonville has accepted the option of re-kicking with a 5-yard penalty added.
All right, let's go down to Michelle Tafoya.
Well, I'm with A.J. Green, and it was a night cut short for you, A.J., when you took a little ding to the knee, to the right knee. What happened?
I think I just came down on it, banged knees, but I'm fine. It sucks because I wanted to play a little bit longer, but
Not serious?
No, not serious at all. I'm fine. I think, like I said, I'm fine now. So.
Other than that, the connection with Andy Dalton, you know, you've lost a couple wide receivers that you're used to out there in Sanu and Marvin Jones. How are things progressing with this offense?
It's doing good. I feel like, you know, we brought in guys. We drafted Tyler, we brought in Beef and then we have some more younger guys that are really playing well for us, and you can see that tonight. You know, so I think we'll be fine. Continue to keep playing well, and you know, sky's the limit for the team.
How ready is Brandon LaFell? We know he had that right hand injury.
Oh, he's ready. That guy's the ultimate pro, man. He's been around this league for a long time, played well everywhere he went, and I think he's going to be big for us.
We're looking forward to watching you this season. Thanks, AJ.
Thank you for having me.
Michelle, the fans are so happy to hear from him, especially in Cincinnati, as Josh Johnson is brought down just shy of the 20-yard line on the second kickoff return. AJ says he's not concerned. It doesn't seem serious. That's a relief to Bengal fans.
Yeah, now maybe they can go interview Adam Jones and see how he's doing. And we got half the equation going right there. But for the Bengals, you think about it, in their last 4 first-round picks, William Jackson, Cedric Ogbuehi, Darquez Denard, and Tyler Eifert, all out with injuries. I mean, that's a remarkable streak.
Chad Henne takes over at quarterback for Jacksonville. Has not had the greatest preseason, so he'd like to get some good work in. He's going to get hit here after he runs for a couple of yards. Deshaun Williams, first-year man out of Clemson, tackles Henne.
I have seen at least the preseason tape on Deshaun Williams. He hustles like crazy. I saw him chase a guy down 15 yards down the field and make a tackle on a running back or a receiver down the field. That's the kind of energy that coaches notice, and other coaches notice if he happens to not make this team.
And then that first preseason game against the Vikings, Denard Robinson with the handoff. So one 4-year Michigan quarterback hands to a guy who quarterbacked the Wolverines for 3 years, as Henne gives to Robinson.
You live in Michigan. You know what Denard Robinson was all about as a quarterback. I can remember a couple of games where he turned the corner and there wasn't a DB on the field that was going to have a chance to tackle him. And he's a tough guy for a running back, for a quarterback convert to running back and not really a very big guy. He'll pound it in inside. Here's that double-A blitz the Bengals love. They bring those two linebackers up.
Drop one, they bring 5. That pass is incomplete as it ricochets off of Tony Washington's hands. Chucky Brown there in coverage. You say that gap, the 2 double-A gap, the blitz, everybody loves that blitz now. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, and here comes Nick Vigil, one of the young linebackers that they think they'll drop out the other linebacker. But the Bengals, out of the exact same look, when they walk those 2 guys up, they have about 25 different defenses that they run out of that look. It used to be 2 or 3, and it was Mike Zimmer, and before that, Jim Johnson in Philadelphia that would do it. And so now this has kind of become one of the base defenses, and a lot of it started in Cincinnati.
Ryan Quigley kicking. Brandon Tate is back. Good kick. Tate from the 19. Throttle it down on the sideline at the 25-yard line. Miles Jack was down there covering along with Neil Sterling of Jacksonville. We're talking playoffs on the PGA Tour. Ricky Fowler thrilled them last year at the Deutsche Bank. It's the second leg of the PGA Tour playoffs. Golf Channel coverage begins Friday at 2 and continues Sunday 3 Eastern on NBC. Patrick Reed with the win today at Bethpage Black. Look at that board. Jason Day, #1 in the world. Dustin Johnson, the major champ. Adam Scott, Jordan Spieth. Emiliano Grillo has played outstanding golf the last month or so. One of the neatest things I saw at the golf today, the man who won the gold medal in the Rio Olympics, finishing up on the 18th hole, playing with Phil Mickelson. Justin Rose goes to his golf bag, pulls out his gold medal.
No.
And he tapped in on 18, his last stroke of the first playoff event, with the gold medal around his neck. Trey Carson with the carry. Mickelson was like, he wanted to take it off. Mickelson's like, no, keep it on. It looks pretty good. Michelle's interviewed a bunch of people with gold medals the last few weeks, and here she is on the sideline.
And I'm with Blake Bortles this time, and a little frustration out there tonight. You knew this defense was going to provide you a really solid test. What did you take away?
Well, we played pretty bad. You know, I don't think they did a whole lot of things to stop us. We played pretty bad at every position, and usually that's what happens when you play bad. You don't score a lot of points.
Well, now that's a pretty stark assessment. What do you do with that?
You know, I think it's good. We've had success, you know, as the ones in the first 2 preseason games, and this is kind of our first chance of, you know, going against adversity and having some things not go our way. But I think it's a chance to learn from it and be better in week 1 against Green Bay.
Well, if there were some good things to see, it was Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns, and the 3 of you came into this league at the same time. What has it been like for the 3 of you to develop together?
You know, it's been pretty cool to kind of go through everything with those guys. And our whole class has been pretty good, and a lot of guys are playing. So to go through everything and have those guys there every step of the way, it's been cool to grow and see those guys get better each and every day.
And I know you reached out to Carson Palmer and Aaron Rodgers, and you asked them if they knew something now that they didn't know in their 3rd year that they would advise you about. What would it be? What'd you hear?
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to some different guys, and you know, they said get in there and do as much film study as you can, learn the offense as much as possible, and be smart with the football and throw it to your team.
Well, we're going to look forward to watching you the rest of the way. Thanks, Blake.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mike.
All right, Michelle, great, honest assessment. The offense did play well. First 2 preseason games, 5 possessions, 3 touchdowns, but not tonight. Senderick Marks just made the sack of A.J. McCarron and will force Cincinnati to kick it away.
Yeah, they like that. That was a good play. And Derek Marks, though, he was banged up and came back last year. Wasn't, after that knee injury, wasn't quite the same player. But everything we've seen so far this year, he's really sharp.
Lefty punter Kevin Huber kicked it 49. Josh Johnson to return to the 37-yard line. 4.5 gone by here in the 3rd preseason game 3. Jacksonville only scored 3 tonight. Here on NBC. Go back to the days of Jacksonville and their success. Brought to you by Corona Extra, who invites you to find your beach. And by Ford, we go further so you can. See those great names in Jacksonville Jaguars history. Chris, when this franchise got started, it was something that rewrote the rules for expansion, because no expansion team in any sport got off to a start the way these guys did, complete to Tony Washington, the pass by Chad Henne for a first down. Year 2 to the AFC Championship game, and Tom Coughlin hired before they got on the field that first year. got a foundation, worked these guys extremely hard, and got extreme rewards for it.
You got a great coach and a great quarterback. Yeah, it's a pretty good formula. We've seen that one work in the past, right? And Tom Coughlin, I'm not completely convinced that Tom is finished coaching. We'll see. He's working with the league office. You just get the feeling that he would like to have one more go somewhere.
Going to be on the competition committee as well. Denard Robinson with the run to the left. And he'll gain about 6 yards. So you go back, Chris, those first 5 seasons, tremendous record. Those 80 games, they won 49 of them, making that conference championship game with Brunell and Coughlin a couple of times. But since then, 4th worst record in the league, 50 games under 500. A lot of fits and starts. Jack Del Rio had them going for a little bit. They couldn't get over the hump. Haven't had a winning season since 2007. That's why they've had so many top 10 draft picks. And now trying to hit on some of those draft picks and hope that there's another good era ahead for the Jaguars and their fans. This pass deflected and incomplete, as was intended for Nick Jacobs. Will Clark got a hand on it. The guy who's making these picks, Dave Caldwell, the general manager of the Jaguars.
Yeah, and he knows exactly what the plan is, and they have stuck to it. They have built an offense, and they're remaking that offensive line, and now they're building a defense, and they know it's not going to happen. Watch Will Clark get down the field. How about that for a defensive lineman to reach back and make a play? Go on with it, Will Clark.
It's 6'6", 280, dropping in coverage.
Hey, Oscar Wright! 59, 5. L. Ready? Listen.
3rd and 6 for Henny. Collapsing pocket, pass is deflected, but floats out there to Nick Jacobs, who has the first down. There's a penalty marker down as Jacobs is out of bounds at the 29-yard line.
Pass interference, offense, number 85. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 3rd down.
Now that ball floated in the air because Marcus Hunt came around that edge. You'll see him coming off of this side, just going to take his offensive lineman, Rashad Hill, straight back in there, and Henny could not follow through. Here's a look at the penalty. A little push off.
Trevor Roach, the linebacker, got shoved by Jacobs.
Nick Vigil in there, number 59 for the Cincinnati Bengals, a guy that they think may well be in the starting lineup, at least in some nickel situations, before this season's over.
Their 3rd round pick. Eddie throws the screen into Robinson. The flag down as Denard Robinson bounces off 1 tackle. He's shy of the first down. The flag thrown right by where that block was made to Spring Robinson.
An eligible player on the offense downfield prior to the pass, number 69. 5-yard penalty, repeat, 3rd down.
We'll talk about linebackers and coverage. Carlos Dansby is here after a stop in Cleveland.
Carlos, in our meeting last night, he said, we already know what everybody's going to do. He goes, if I don't have 3 interceptions and Vincent Ray doesn't have 3 interceptions in the first 3 games, he said, we just dropped the ball. That's all there is to it. A very high energy guy, amazing, a guy that is in his mid-30s now, is still such a tremendous cover linebacker.
Robinson runs for 11.
You know, that's going to be his role with this football team, is to get out there in coverage, a veteran guy. He's seen it all. He had 2 pick sixes last year playing for Cleveland. Got Peyton Manning, and he goes, yeah, it's no big deal. It's out there. Came down for a recruiting trip, one of the better restaurants in Cincinnati. He brought an entire package of food. He's there with Paul Gunther, the defensive coordinator.
Wait. He brought his own food.
Brought his own food. He said, you guys mind heating this up? And I'm sure the waiter looked like, what? So they took it back, and they heated the thing up, and Paul Gunther had some great ribs over at the Boathouse, and he had whatever he brought.
That's part of his deal. He's very conscious of what he eats and how he eats, so he's going out to dinner. He'll bring his own food. Try to stay on this side of the goal line to keep it in play. Jared Wilson down there at first. Ryan Davis second. And the Jaguars have downed it at the 2. 98 yards to go. Some good hustle The guys trying to make a name for themselves to this Jacksonville team. Looking forward to Monday, September 19th. The Voice is back. New coaches Miley Cyrus and Alicia Keys join Adam and Blake. This changes everything. Emmy-nominated The Voice premieres Monday, September 19th on NBC.
We can get Adam and Blake to just sit down and have a meal together and try and work things out.
Peaceful mode. No gain on first down for Trey Carson. Let's go down again to Michelle Tafoya.
And I'm with Carlos Dunlap, who set the Bengals' single-season record for sacks with 13.5 last year. But you told me earlier that's not enough. What more do you want?
I want that sack title. One of my goals coming in is to get that single-season sack title, and along with that, I'm aiming for Michael Strahan's record, which is 23. That's the most any DN or any pass rusher has gotten in a single season. I feel like 23 will give me that sack title.
Well, that's going to be your aim then. I know another one of your goals was graduating from college, and you did that this offseason. The thing was, the ceremony conflicted with the draft, and you had agreed to announce the third-round pick for the Bengals. So you wore your cap and gown out there. What did that mean to you?
It was an unbelievable moment. That was my first time at the draft. They asked the man of the year. The Bengals asked me since I was man of the year to announce their third-round pick. And personally, I know that the third-round pick is an important pick for us, so it's like the future of the Bengals. But I just graduated as well, and it was on the same day. So I tried to work it out so that I could basically celebrate the both of them. And talked to the NFL, talked to Roger, and he approved of it because he knows how important education is and how much they're trying to encourage athletes to go back if they leave early. Because, I mean, we understand the opportunity is a small window, so he wants you to capitalize and seize that opportunity. But once you get settled, take the time to go back in the offseason because education is important because NFL stands for not for long.
Well, you walk the walk. Thanks for the time. We appreciate it, Carlos.
I appreciate it, Michelle. Thank you.
All right, and an injury update on Cedric Pearman. We saw him leave the field earlier in that vacuum splint, and it turns out he has fractured that left forearm. It is broken. We saw a visible dip in that arm when we looked at it, and it is, in fact, fractured.
Disappointing. Thank you, Michelle. Kevin Huber's punt out of bounds. Not his best from inside of his own end zone, and Jacksonville will take over at the 42. 6:38 to play, third quarter. Boy, what a moment it was for Cincinnati. They had rallied from down 15-0, took the 16-15 lead, minute 50 left at home, get a turnover off of Pittsburgh. They're in great shape. Jeremy Hill fighting for extra yardage. He fumbles. Ryan Shazier, great job to pull it away. Then on the drive, Vontez Burfict, Adam Jones, back-to-back personal fouls. Chris Boswell with the game-winning field goal. It's a fifth consecutive season with a first-round knockout in the playoffs as Marvin Lewis and the Bengals were eliminated. Joe Banyard with the carry here for Jacksonville. Chris, no playoff loss is easy to get over. That one was crushing, only because everything built up for Cincinnati all year, and to end that way at home was just devastating.
And they can't get off the schneid there, right? They can't get that first playoff win despite the fact they've been to the playoffs 5 straight years. And Paul Guenther, the defensive coordinator, said, I thought it was the most important meeting I've ever had in my life when I first got to address the football team. He said, we had to own it. You know, there's no running, there's no hiding. We did that. We had an opportunity to win the football game. We lost our poise, and now that is going to be hanging over us forever. So now what do we do? Right. And they got all the veteran players together. Marvin Lewis did. Everybody that was involved in that play. It was, you know, Jeremy Hill, and it was Adam Jones, and it was Vontez Burfict, and they just laid it all out there. And I asked Guenther, I said, I heard that Adam Jones was crying. He said, let me tell you something. Everybody was crying in that locker room. He said, I've just never been a part of anything quite that devastating, but somehow the Bengals seem to have put it behind them, and they've been sharp out here tonight.
28, it is Henny, and he'll take off and slide and gain about 6 yards, maybe 7, to the 21-yard line. But I thought you said it very well. This is going to be something that has to build as the season goes on. When they get real adversity, it's nice to do it here in the preseason, but as the real adversity sets in for Guenther's defense on the offensive side, how are you going to respond? When do the ghost of that game come back? Probably not until you get to the postseason again and you're faced with all those questions and we all dredge it up one more time.
Yeah, and let's face it, they didn't have Andy Dalton in the game, right? Mm-hmm. So you're trying to win a playoff game without that. And there was so much to that game when you look back on that thing. from Pittsburgh's standpoint. Antonio Brown on the late hit by Vontaze Burfict, he gets a concussion and he can't play the next week against the Denver Broncos. In a very close game, he well could have been the difference in that football game. So it was one of those games, and I know later on this year we're going to have those two teams in Cincinnati in the rematch, and I'm sure Carlos Dunlap and the guys are going to be cranking and ready to go.
It's week 15 of the season on a Sunday night. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati meet in Pittsburgh. Week 2, Bengals open up at the Jets on September 11th, 2 weeks from today. And he's pass deflected. Again, that's the second time that's happened. Deshaun Williams continues to put up good tape here in this preseason for Cincinnati.
He just works. He has great energy. And, you know, you're not always going to get there. These quarterbacks get it out of their hands quickly. But believe it or not, that takes a lot of energy. You're leaning on a guy, if you've ever wrestled in high school or done any of that kind of, or even with your little brother or whatever, you know you get worn out fast. Those big guys get tired, and he's still out there working.
4th and 3, and the Jaguars will go for it and convert with Tony Washington, second-year receiver at Appalachian State. Keep this drive alive as Jacksonville tries to get a first touchdown of the night.
Well, I tell you, this back shoulder throw for the Jaguars is one that they have almost perfected. We really didn't see, in my opinion, this offense tonight. This offense is about Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns going deep, throwing the ball up, letting that 42-inch vertical go get it, and then throw these back shoulder plays. You just get the feeling that Jacksonville was just sort of keeping a few things under their hat, waiting for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers to get here.
So it's 1st and goal, and Banyard gains a couple of yards. And this offense scored 31, 34 against Buffalo, 39 at Tennessee, 51 against Indianapolis last year. So as the season got rolling, that's where they were hanging their hat. They were giving up points, but they were scoring them with everybody.
You know, and really Gus Bradley, he said it. We're a defense. I'm a defensive guy. So all these drafts, we were committed to taking the best player available, and it just kept being offensive guys. So we got pretty good over there. And now they committed to get a little better on defense, too.
And on the inside run, they get to the end zone with the 4th-year man out of the UTEP, Joe Banyard with the touchdown. And they're going to go for 2.
I think Vigil is going to learn this lesson that in general, you're going to come down there as you go up there, and if you're unblocked, somebody's coming for you, and got a nice little trap for the touchdown.
Kadeem Edwards, the guard, paving the way for Banyard to score. We'll see what they have down here with the 2-point play. It really is bed up at the top. And Denard Robinson back here. Give you some other options of what you want to do on a 2-point play. And run it on the inside and score. Denard Robinson had a whole bunch of yards, both passing and rushing. Set some unique marks within college football history for his ability to do both. Gets the 2, and it's a 10-point game.
Well, we talk about other guys. How about Kadeem Edwards? Back-to-back plays. Helped his team put 8 points on the board. Nice big block there. Pretty good on the outside as well by Patrick Omame. Look at Marvin. It must be awful being a coach. You know that? It's just like your team could not have played better tonight. Everything is going your way. Maybe a couple injuries. They just look terrific. Physically tough, and you give up with the 3rd-string guys, and it's just disgusting.
You know, you talked about Marvin. Think about other cities, other teams, other coaches. Not just the 5 playoff losses in a row, 5 years in a row, but the way that one happened, and it would have been, we've got to make a change. And there was a lot of that conversation nationally the day after. People were saying, well, certainly this will be the end. No, it's not. There's been the patience here, and Marvin Lewis is coming back, and he, along with the rest of the players, owning it and setting the tone for what it has to be going forward.
Mike, let me tell you something. I live in Cincinnati. I was around for the 20 years where they were winning 3 and 4 and 5 and 2 games and having the #1 draft pick. Marvin Lewis, the best thing that ever happened to Cincinnati Bengals football. I really hope he gets a chance to play for a world championship, because he has brought this organization to a place that I'm not sure anybody really thought they could get there. He and Mike Brown have battled out a few different things, but they found a way to make this organization so much better than what it had been. And that consistency is really making a difference. Now, this one's always going to come up, right? Yep. This is always going to be the but, according to John Madden. But this franchise now is built to compete for a world championship, and you couldn't even get in the stratosphere of saying that before he got here.
Look at those coaches, all those consecutive seasons when they started their tenure with the team without winning a title, and they're very respected coaches. All of them. Cowher finally breaking through. We'll see what happens in Marvin Lewis's 14th season now with Cincinnati. He replaced Dick LeBeau. Dick LeBeau was the coach 2000 to 2002. Bronson Hill is trapped in the backfield, and Richard Ashe out of Western Michigan, who started his career at Michigan, with the tackle.
You know, but I think they looked within their division, or I would have, at the Pittsburgh Steelers, yes. Right? You know, in Cleveland, they're changing a lot, and and they're not having a success. In Pittsburgh, they change coaches every 25 years or something, and they can build, they can draft to one system, and they keep the continuity going, and that's exactly what the Bengals have done. You know, you look at New England, you look Andy Reid, and first in Philadelphia, and now he's starting to get it going again. So you take great coaches and let them build to their system, and to Mike Brown's credit, you know, they've done that.
Flag down here. A.J. McCarron in for a little negotiation as well.
There is no foul on the play for an illegal snap and the adjustment of the football. It will be second down.
Well, you think about what makes good coaching and a successful tenure. Wins, players, your coaching tree. And Mike Zimmer, terrific job with Minnesota. Jay Gruden goes to Washington. Hugh Jackson, now the coach of Cleveland. All coordinators for Marvin Lewis during this run here with Cincinnati, and replacing them with other good coaches as well.
Your old partner won a world championship. His brother might be on the path right now. Jay's doing a job in Washington.
Of course, the whole tenor of that division taking a turn with the Tony Romo injury.
That's amazing, isn't it? Tony, you know, his back injury is so tough to overcome. We wish him well. One of the really good guys in the league.
McCarron is flushed and chased, and he'll be brought down by Chris Smith. Third-year man out of Arkansas. He's played the most snaps in this preseason on the Jacksonville defense, and has a sack to show for it now.
Well, you know, and there's some guys that aren't playing in this game. Roy Miller, I think, is one of the best run stuffers playing for Jacksonville, and he's going to be back for opening day. So I don't think you've seen Malik Jackson played, had a cup of coffee out here in this game. So the key is going to be the young guys, Dante Fowler and Yannick Ngakoue, as I battle my way through that name. If those two guys can become pass rushers on the edge, this will be a different football team. They've got plenty of guys inside.
Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Ngakoue is a rookie out of Maryland. He's their third-round pick. Had a terrific season pressuring the quarterback for the Terps.
Yeah, like 13 sacks and 57 total pressures to rank number 1 among all outside linebackers in the FBS. So they've got the talent, but this is the National Football League. You don't beat Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers with a lot of young players, and they're going to have to build this.
McCarron hit as he swings it out to Bronson Hill. And Hill got out of the tackle and got over to the 23-yard line. Chris, when you talk about the young guys, a lot of it comes down to the health of a couple of them, like Fowler that you mentioned, and that man, Miles Jack.
No question. Here he's learning a new position. He loves to play in space. He's very good as a coverage guy. And he's out there, you know, think of this poor guy. He doesn't even know what he's doing, and he's calling all the signals for everybody else. But that sort of force-feeding a system on him is going to do him nothing but good.
Bunting time. Kevin Huber hits it. Shane Wynn with a fair catch at the 38-yard line with 1:08 remaining here in this third quarter. NFL fantasy season is here. Join the fun, play free at NFL.com/fantasy. Time of the season. Get your crew ready. Get your drafts ready.
You play fantasy football?
You know, I haven't the last couple of years. We did a league, which is actually fun. Steal our idea, please. A bunch of my son's friends and the dads played. So we had a great league, and you know, the kids loved it when they beat the dads all, especially when they beat me. Hey, Mr. Football Announcer, you kicked your butt in fantasy last week.
I used to tell them, I said, all you guys pick. I'll pick last. I'll crush you all. I think I finished last 3 years in a row.
And he takes over from the 39. Nobody open. Chad will go forward and gain about a yard. David Dean out of Virginia with a stop.
You know, it's going to be an interesting question for Gus Bradley and Greg Olsen. What do you do on this offensive line? You know, do you make that move to go play the Green Bay Packers? Do you put Kelvin Beachum in there at left tackle? Do you put Luke Jokel in there at guard and just live with it? You know, in the same way you're going to have to live with some of the young guys on defense and build this thing for one more year. You know, it's going to take a patient owner in Shad Khan to be able to go, yeah, okay, let's do that. When he's done so many brilliant things here with this stadium, he's going to want to fill the house and win the games. But, you know, the patience has been there so far. You just wonder how much longer it can last.
Pass for Brian Walters was incomplete. Well, you talk about that, Chris, and you think that fourth preseason game, usually you don't play your starters. It may be a series, and you get them out of there. You want to get them healthy to the opener. But what do you do when you only have 20 snaps or so with Beachum at left tackle and Jokel at guard?
It's a good point. They might see some action.
Jacksonville plays at Atlanta. Everyone in the league plays their final preseason game on Thursday of this week. Third down, heading with the throw. It's a good throw. One of the better ones he's made this preseason to Brian Walters. And it's a first down for the Jaguars. Jacksonville getting on the board with a touchdown. Tighten this to a 10-point game, and on the move here as we begin the fourth quarter. After 3, Cincinnati 21, Jacksonville 11. NBC Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. Mike Tirico in for Al Michaels, along with Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya here on Florida's First Coast. In the northeast part of the state, Jacksonville, Florida. See if one of these teams, the Jaguars, the Buccaneers, the Dolphins, can get some winning football down here in the state in terms of the pros. Pass swung out to Brian Walters, incomplete. Let's go back down to Michelle Tafoya.
And I'm with Andy Dalton, and as we saw it, things looked pretty smooth for the offense for you guys. What did you think?
Yeah, we thought we did move the ball well. You know, we had a quick drive in there, quick score, and then we had a long drive for a touchdown. So it felt like it was pretty smooth to start off this game.
You're getting to know some of these new young receivers. I mean, A.J. Green is really your only holdover. How's that going?
It's been good. You know, we've seen a lot of improvement from the spring till now, and you know, we need that, especially because we're going to have to rely on these guys, you know, some new faces for us. So it's been good. The guys have gotten a lot better, and so just kind of keep getting better every day.
Yeah, it used to be that Tyler Eifert was your guy in the red zone. He was a touchdown maker there. He's injured right now, so how do you make up for his absence?
Yeah, you know, CJ's done a great job. You know, he's gotten a lot of reps. I think that's, you know, as unfortunate as that Tyler hadn't been in there, we've been able to get him, CJ, a lot of reps in there. So he's getting a good feel for what we're asking him to do, and he's a talented guy.
And now for the 13 millionth time you've been asked about that excruciating playoff loss. I mean, we talked about it, and it's in a, you know, you can't get away from it. But how are you guys getting past it and moving on for this season?
Yeah, it's a new year. I think that's one thing that you know, Marvin said the first meeting is last year's over with. We got to move on from it. So I think we've learned from you know, the penalties at the end of the game, and so we're moving forward. Like I said, it's a new year.
And it seems to me that everyone's very excited for that first kickoff on September 11th, so the story can change.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you know, we'll be ready to go as soon as this regular season starts.
Andy, thanks. All the best.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Mike.
All right, Michelle, thank you. They'll be in New Jersey to take on the Jets to get the season open. 3rd and 5, and that pass incomplete for Denard Robinson. Chris, you always have respect for people who know the room, who understand what's going on. And Andy Dalton came in as quarterback out of TCU, played for 4 years, But he knew that there were veterans like Whitworth in that room. He wasn't the vocal leader. But then last year was a little bit of the turn of the page. It's your time to become that guy. And he did. And you're seeing more of that, hearing it in Michel's interview and the way he handles himself now around this team.
Yeah, and I think the other players like it. Marvin Lewis was telling a story that all of a sudden he walked in the locker room one day and there was a ping pong table in there. Marvin was like, what the heck is going on? Who put a ping pong table in here? And he went over to the equipment guy and he said, well, Andy made us pull it out of the back end of the room. I said, what? So he didn't want to contradict his quarterback. He liked that he's out there leading. Right. He goes, did you do that? I said, yeah. I said, well, next time just ask. Well, yeah, just get permission.
Number 28, 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Darius Hillary, the rookie from Wisconsin, called for the flag. That'll be the 4th down pickup for Jacksonville.
There's Darius Hillary, and there was a bit of a hold. I played with his dad in Cincinnati. He was a wide receiver with me in the late 80s. And,
Ira, right?
Yeah, Hillary and Darius trying to make the club.
1st and 10 will pump and go, and not going anywhere. His safety coverage was there with Floyd Raven. What's the problem with having a ping pong table in the locker room?
You know, it's just who's in charge, the quarterback or the head coach. I think it's an age-old question sometimes. You know, Marvin, don't give away all his secrets, but I think he kind of liked it. You know, he kind of had a chuckle out of it, and the fact that his quarterback's sort of taken over, and would Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady get away with it? Yeah, they probably would.
Of course, we're talking about Andy Dalton, that thumb injury last year. Such an innocent-looking play as Joe Banyard, who had the touchdown earlier, carries for 2 yards. Adam Jones made it very clear this week. The instructions are very simple to Andy Dalton. Throw an interception or you fumble the ball. Get as far away as possible. We don't need to lose you that way again.
But, you know, it's impossible to do. You know, you throw an interception and it was a little flip under pass and your brain explodes. And here comes a guy that just intercepted, and all you want to do is hit him as hard as you can, and your brain does not say, hey, I'm a quarterback, I should get out of the way. Then, you know, you'd be the laughing stock all night long.
3rd and 9 for Henny. And complete inside the 15-yard line to Neil Sterling, the tight end who, when he was in college at Monmouth in New Jersey, he broke a lot of the records that Miles Austin put up at that school.
Just a little corner route down here on the outside. Pops wide open. Coverages don't look quite as tight as they did in the first half with the number 2 scoring defense in the NFL from a season ago.
Henny did not play in 2015. Guy started 53 games in his NFL career. Oh, too hot to handle for Banyard. Incomplete. He was in Miami for 4 years. Then when he was here, he started the first 3 games of 2014. Then they turned it over to Blake Bortles the rest of that year, and Bortles took everything in 2015.
You know, and maybe this will be a good night for Jacksonville. They look sharp on offense the first 2 weeks, and everything was going well. And boy, this optimism was sky high. And all of a sudden now you put a pin in it, and you go back to work. And you've got a couple of weeks now to get it right and see how you do against Green Bay.
2nd and 10. Banyard banging forward near the 2. He's done a nice job in here. He's appeared with Minnesota and Jacksonville. 23 games in his career, 5 games last season.
Now, one of the guys we've been kind of keeping an eye on right here, Nick Vigil, kind of overruns this one this time, but he's a guy that they really do believe has all the intangibles, great instincts, good in the passing game, can cover. He's going to develop into a good one.
And he'll roll it. He'll give it to Sterling, and Neil Sterling scores the Jaguars touchdown.
I always love to watch quarterbacks in that situation. Maybe you could run it in, but run-in touchdowns, they don't get you paid. They don't help the quarterback rating. You flip that thing 2 yards, and all of a sudden your quarterback rating goes up. pulled the defense. Going to come right back across this way. Just take that thing, and if you could just lay it to him, you would. But you got to throw it to get credit. So there it was.
You talk about real pros. A lot of the guys, candidly, out there for Jacksonville right now may not make this team. And here's Chad Henne, who's got 53 NFL starts. This may be the most work he gets all season if Bortles stays healthy, and he's really done a nice job the last couple of drives.
You know, once the season starts, I'll bet you Chad Henne doesn't get more than a snap or two in practice all week.
Going for two in the back. What a catch! Tony Washington up high and bringing it down.
All right. Watch this one. This looked like he threw it straight to the defender, Jimmy Wilson. I think Wilson was going, I can't believe he's going to throw me this ball. Nope.
Wow. Thievery. 2-point game. 11 nights. Countdown's on. It's for real. September 8th. Panthers and the Broncos in the rematch of Super Bowl 50. Then 2 weeks from tonight, Sunday Night Football. The Patriots in Arizona to take on the Cardinals. NFL kickoff weekend starts Thursday, September 8th, only on NBC.
Well, kids having fun here tonight. The pool is still filled up.
They have done the max to make this a place to come hang out and not just go to a football game. They've done a tremendous job with this stadium. Mark Lamping, the team president, Shad Khan mentioned earlier, the ownership. We're trying to get this market engaged. There was doubt that this team would stay here. And now I think they're seeing the commitment and paying it back in kind. Alex Erickson with a kick return just shy of the 25-yard line. Over 25, shy of the 30. How about this catch again?
Love it. Believe it.
Wilson wondering what happened. That bolt that got me.
There you go.
Make sure my stay here is short.
Yeah, you know, but obviously the more you're underwater, the cooler it is, right? So you want to be at all the way under the water there and be comfortable.
The other pool is empty, by the way, we should point out. Joe Licata in at quarterback, flips it to Alex Erickson coming around the edge. He gains about 8 yards. Let's check in with Michelle one more time.
Well, I'm with Allen Robinson, and we talked to your quarterback, Blake Bortles, a little earlier, and he said, we just played bad. At every position, we played bad. When you come up with that assessment and you head back to work, where do you start?
I think it all starts with the fundamentals, you know, as far as pre-snap, things like that. We had some pre-snap penalties today that we didn't want to have, that had some setbacks on drive and things like that, you know, so I think it starts with the basics from us.
You and Blake and Alan Hearns all came into the league together. How much have you guys influenced each other on the field?
I think a lot. You know, it's something that we kind of went through the same experiences as rookies. You know, so we're able to grow together, you know, each and every year and continue to build that camaraderie between each other.
Well, according to them, you are football 24/7. It is never out of your mind. What is it about this game that has you so absorbed?
It's just fun. You know, something I've been around my entire life. So I mean, I've been playing video games of football. You know, watching my cousins growing up and things like that. So it's been around me my entire life.
And rumor has it, you now want to be a coach. You thought you might want to be a television announcer. Now, in your third year as a wide receiver, you're saying a coach? How sure are you about that?
I'm pretty sure. You know, again, I love the game. So one day, whenever it's all said and done and I'm done playing the game, you know, I would love to coach it.
Well, based on the way you play, you'd probably be a pretty good coach, too. Alan, thanks. All the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Mike?
All right, Michelle, thank you.
Based on the salary he's making now, he wants to be a coach. When he gets that next contract,
right,
that'll be out the window.
Might change his intention. Well, the impact he had last year, 25-yard catches or more, led the league. When you're more than Antonio Brown, you're more than Julio Jones. That gives everybody an idea the kind of player he is. Pro Bowler from a season ago.
Well, and that's what was unusual about tonight is we didn't see that. This team threw 97 deep balls a season ago, and I think we saw one, maybe a little fade in the corner of the end zone out there. But Blake Bortles had a 116 quarterback rating, okay, on deep balls, and that's impressive.
Right.
And especially when you hear that the NFL average is 87, right? So that's a big gap. This team was really good, and they're really good at that back shoulder throw. We just didn't get a lot of that tonight. And if I can offer one bit of advice to people who want to make predictions, don't pay any attention to preseason. I hate to even say that, but it's really true, is that it just doesn't hold true until they start the game planning and they start playing the regulars for 4 quarters.
3rd and 10 for Joe Licata, quarterback, rookie out of Buffalo, who is under siege and going down. Sack Josh Johnson with the penetration. He's been back on some punt returns. There he gets to Licata and gets Cincinnati's offense off the field.
Tyrone Holmes with a little bit of that wide 9 down low stance, going to come off and make a little move here. Montana, the leading sacker. He was a nice quick little move right there. They're looking for pass rushers. That was pretty good.
He was an All-American at the FCS level. Good penetration last week as well. From Shane Wynn with a return, and Wynn has the edge. Out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Good 19-yard return by Wynn. Jaguars trying to push it down the field and take the lead here in the 4th. That sign is to remember Darren Daly, who was the head groundskeeper at Paul Brown Stadium, the home of the Cincinnati Bengals. Had that job since 2003. He passed away suddenly yesterday at age 45, suffered a medical emergency while painting a high school football field in Ohio. He had worked with the Columbus Crew, had been a big part of the operations around the Bengals home stadium, and the Jaguars groundskeeping staff also helped put that sign up in memory of Darren Daly, who lost his life yesterday. Really has been out of bounds here on that pass and incomplete, and needless to say, we all had our condolences to Darren Daly's family and the family of the Bengals as well. The people who run the stadium, and they're around the Bengals train right there at Paul Brown Stadium, so they're around every day, and they're as much a part of this as anyone.
Really well loved in Cincinnati, and a first-class act by the grounds crew here in Jacksonville.
Just under 9 minutes left here in the 4th, and Henny throws through 2 hands and incomplete. Tony Washington could get a hold of it. Neither could Trevor Roach, the first-year linebacker out of Nebraska.
You know, this is the point in the game where I actually kind of cheer for almost everybody that's on the field at this point. Everybody, they know this is their last shot. This is their moment that the coaches are either going to give them the thumbs up or the thumbs down, and the first cut comes next week, and
Tuesday.
then the really tough one comes the following week. But there are a lot of guys out there who are just playing football harder than they've ever played it in their whole lives because they think that a potential career in the National Football League is on the line.
You see the dates as we go through, getting down to 53 players. Then some guys come back for the 10-player practice squad. And we were with Tony Dungy on Thursday night in Orlando and talked about that, how hard that is for a coach. And we've seen it on Hard Knocks over the last few years. That cut down, it's so difficult. There's 35 guys who've given you so much here in the spring and the summer. And now you've got to tell them that the dream is over here and it's time to move on.
But I don't know of one of them that would trade the experience. You know, they love it. They love playing ball. They want to play until they just can't play anymore, and sometimes the coaches have to tell them you can't play anymore.
Alex Erickson, who's done a lot of good playing in this preseason, got past the punter and was finally brought down by Corey Grant, who's been returning kicks for Jacksonville. But it's a net zero right there. He brings it back right to the line scrimmage when the kick happened. Just a yard shy of it at least. Alex Erickson's made a name in this preseason for Cincinnati. Sunday Night Football is brought to you by the 2017 Kia Sorento. Learn more at kia.com. And by U.S. Bank. Well, people affected by severe weather and other disasters need your help now. You can support those impacted by disasters like the floods in Louisiana, countless other crises. Text Red Cross to 90999. Give $10 to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief. Tough times. A lot of people who love football. Keep them in our thoughts as well.
No better way to help than the Red Cross.
Joe Licata barely got the handoff to the running back as T.J. Barnes was busted in on Bronson Hill. A nice play by Barnes out of Georgia Tech.
Yeah, there's nothing like being a running back and seeing this come at you.
Right.
You almost want to go, hey, dude, just hold on to the ball here. You almost got out of it. I think I've played every position in football at one time or another, except linebacker. I never played linebacker. And they hand you that ball, and there's one of those guys right
Underneath, intercepted. Hayes Pollard, the third, in a foot race, will give the Jaguars the lead.
Well, that makes up for the one he didn't report on.
Weren't with us earlier. Pollard was a fullback who caught a pass out of the backfield, but he never reported, so it was a penalty on him. No flags here with 6 points.
There we go. Go get him, Hayes. He's been in the end zone all night tonight. That's awesome. He's getting a little winded at the end. He had to give it the wiggle, make sure he didn't get run down. He's probably watching the Jumbotron.
Penalty assessed on the kickoff.
There's a 62-yard return for Hayes Pollard the third. He's on the practice squad for most of the year. Got to one start. As Licata, as we mentioned, a school record setter at Buffalo. This opportunity to try to make an impact, and throws that pick six that gives the Jaguars the lead.
Little handshake there, and worst part for defensive guys when you have a pick six, you got to go right back out there. Offense, you score a touchdown, you go over and have some Gatorade or whatever. Defensive guys, you got to go play again.
Sam Ficken with the extra point, and the Jaguars just about halfway through this fourth quarter now lead 26-21. Now, Chris, we spoke of it earlier, the injury that happened to Tony Romo on Thursday night in Seattle on the scramble in the very first series of the game. Fracture the L1 vertebrae as he was hit from behind by Cliff Averill. And varying reports on the length of time he'll be out. Cowboys keeping a window a little more open than some of the media reports that are out there, putting it in more of a 6+ week time frame. But needless to say, this is multiple injuries, same area, such a sensitive area that really changes your quality of life in addition to your ability to come back and play football. They're going to be as cautious as possible before Romo does come back to play football.
Yeah, and there was, you know, social media and Cliff Averill. There were a lot of people screaming and yelling about him, and he was tomahawking down, trying to get the ball out as he should on the play. So let's stop that completely. But for Tony Romo, this now is a pretty good streak, and I think for the Dallas Cowboys and for Tony Romo as a husband and a father, you start thinking about bigger things in football at some point. So I hope he's fine. Hope he's back playing again, but also hope he's doing whatever's best for him and his family.
Celebration penalty at the back end of the touchdown pushes the kickoff spot back to the 20-yard line. Flag on this play as well. Tony McCray brings it back to the 40-yard line.
Our third offsides penalty of the night.
Obviously that memo went out.
This one was not hard.
Offside, kicking team number 36. Cincinnati has accepted the option of adding the 5-yard penalty to the end of the kick return. First down.
So they'll get it at the 45-yard line. So with Romo out, Dak Prescott has had a very good preseason. He's in the hot seat now.
He's had better than very good preseason. I've watched, I think I've seen them all, and he has been pretty special. Maybe not quite what he was the last game, that he was the first two, but when you have Jason Witten making plays like that, they have confidence in him. Des Bryant came out strong before this week after, I think, the second preseason game, and say, hey, this guy's got it now. We're going to find out if he does or not.
New quarterback for the Bengals, Keith Winning, is in, and he throws underneath and complete. Antoine Grant, rookie out of Western Kentucky, picks up the first down.
So you go pick up the newspaper tomorrow, and Jacksonville, they're keeping it rolling, aren't they? Up 26-21. They're going to win it all this year, Jacksonville is. And Oh, there's our guy, Monty Kiffin, former defensive coordinator down with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Monty Kiffin's path intersected with Gus Bradley's back in Tampa, and Gus with the chance to bring him back in as an assistant coach to be around. There are the days when they were together in Tampa, and Derek Brooks, a terrific linebacker. And then Gus went to Seattle. He was actually there with Jim Mora at first, and then Pete Carroll for a couple of years, and that enthusiasm, the defensive skill, and it was a big part of what that defense looks like now in the work with Pete Carroll and Gus Bradley, and now Gus has been here starting his 4th year as the head coach.
What did Monty say? You know, you can only take so many walks on the beach. I'm ready to come back and coach again. Oh, he's so much fun. I love production meetings. We go in there and talk to him. Once a year, he would gather the troops, and they never knew when it was going to come. But he would get up, and he would bring the boombox in, and James Brown, I Feel Good, would come on, and he would do it wire to wire, and they would lose their minds. And he really, boy, what a defense they had in Tampa, though, didn't they?
It was so good. You know, you think about Bruce Arians, brought Tom Moore out to Arizona. These older coaches at the end of their careers, but still want to be around the game. This inside handoff goes with Trey Carson, and for the players and the coaching staff as well, have somebody with that kind of experience, that reservoir of knowledge to share. They've seen it all 1,000 times. So when it happens in your building, how great is it to have somebody like that say, well, how do we go about navigating this, coach?
Yeah, and Gus Bradley brought up Lou Holtz recently to sort of give him some advice, and Lou Holtz talk about seeing it all now. He's one of the great guys and great characters that this game has ever seen.
2nd and 11 for Wenning. His pass is too tall. Incomplete for Michael Bennett. Here's Michelle again.
Well, I talked to Malik Jackson. He played with Monty Kiffin as a coach at USC, and Jackson told me, Kiff's been doing this for a long time. He's got a lot of wisdom, and I can pick his brain. He said, it's great to have a dictionary like that around to go and ask for knowledge.
That's a perfect term to describe a veteran coach. A dictionary you can get the answers from.
It doesn't have all the same words in it that the other dictionary has, but dictionary is a good word.
3rd and 11. Jaguars rushing 4. Wenning's on the move. And he keeps it alive and gets the first down at the 26-yard line.
You know, if you're Andy Dalton, you run out of bounds there.
Exactly.
If you're Keith Wenning, you go get this first down. You could see he was processing the whole thing here, and he saw the boundary. Nope, I'm going to cut that one back. Let's keep this drive going. We're going to win this game.
The one thing Keith Wenning did in his career at Ball State, he was the comeback kid. He had 10 career comebacks during his time at Ball State. He was there for 4 years.
I guarantee you Whitworth said, you'd have been out of bounds on that one. You just slid. Look out.
Wenning getting hit as he puts it upfield and incomplete for Alonzo Russell. Also played his college ball on the MAC at Toledo. Flag down. It's a Bengal team that opened 8-0 last season before finishing 12-4.
Illegal motion, offense number 80, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
And here's how they get started this season.
I tell you, that Jets defense is going to be something. That defensive line, sort of like the old days of the Jets when they could play in Pittsburgh right away. Of course, renewal of that rivalry and what happened in the playoff game. That'll be a great one. And then right to Denver. Shoot.
And Miami's a short term. Miami's a Thursday night game. And you saw the games there with Dallas. And then they go to London, much like the Jaguars do every year. And the Bengals get their opportunity to go to London. They'll face Washington. It's a pretty good game that they'll see at Wembley. Pass was right in the perfect spot. It could not be pulled in by John Peters, the end of the roster tight end.
Nick Marshall, I think, jumped in there and got his hand on this one. He had good coverage on the way down the boundary and then comes in and makes a play here. So we talk about offensive guys making plays, but defensive guys trying to make the team too.
Well, Nick Marshall's an old offensive guy. He played quarterback in his college days. Terrific stuff at Auburn. Best career start at Georgia. Quarter blitz coming. Trying to run the other way, and this is snuffed out by that defensive front of Jacksonville. Chris Smith credited with the tackle. The Jaguars, you mentioned playing in London, that Marvin Lewis would do against a team he used to coach for as an assistant, the Redskins. Jacksonville has played over there the last few years, and they extended their deal. They'll go play one home game a year now through 2020. Over in London, they have somebody over there who works as a full-time representative of the Jaguars. They have a fan club all over there called the Union Jacks.
Yeah, I was listening to some of the Jags radio show, and they were giving shout-outs to the London crowd. It was like 3 in the morning or whatever over there.
Winning is brought down. Ryan Davis.
I think Gus Bradley and Todd Wash want to win this game. Defensive coordinator Todd Wash, and they're throwing some stunts and some blitzes and some slot blitzes, and they're getting after them. They want to walk out of here with a win.
Shane Wynn back to receive the punt for 20 to go. And the Huber kick is caught. Going to drop, but it will be placed down nonetheless at the 5-yard line. Both teams full complement of timeouts. We mentioned the Green Bay opener, then to San Diego. It'll be a division game playing Indianapolis over in London, then the early bye for the Jaguars.
Okay, I get Green Bay, and that's going to be a challenge, but it's at home. But after that, they can play with those teams. So we're going to find out about Jacksonville, and if they have stepped up the way that they think they have, and those are games that they can be competitive with.
With that London game, a home game, 3 of their first 4 are technically home, and 3 of the next 4 come on the road.
It's hot.
This will be accepted penalty number 22 on the night.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 91. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Michelle?
Well, I'm with Andrew Whitworth. We were just discussing the large number of penalties, but none by Andy Dalton. What a very nice, smooth start for you guys tonight. He took a big leap last season before injuring himself. But what are you expecting from him this year?
Continue to be him, the same guy we've had all this time we've been together. I mean, he's a guy that just his attitude is spark. He leads our troops, and we go as he goes, so we're excited to have him back there.
Yeah, excited to have him back, too, in the fold. It was tough to lose him for the playoffs, and then the way you guys were knocked out of the playoffs was excruciating, to say the least. As a leader on this team, how do you expect this team to respond from that loss?
To continue what we've been doing on this streak of getting to the playoffs, and that's answering the bell and realizing that every week we get a chance to go prove the kind of football team we are. And so I think this year we're excited for that chance to go out each and every week and prove that we're a good football team and earn that opportunity again to get in the playoffs and take advantage of it.
You've been proving it for a long time. This is your 11th season. How long do you think you want to do this?
I don't know. It's still fun. I'm enjoying it. All these new rules we got, it makes it pretty easy on the big fellas. The vets can, it makes it pretty nice on us. So, now I'm growing the beard out and the gray, and I really want the young guys to just feel, man, how old is this guy that's blocking me every play? So, that's the thing. It's fun, man. I'm still having a good time.
See, now I wonder if people know that about offensive linemen. How fun, how funny you are. What's the biggest misconception about the big guys up front?
That we're entertaining. We don't get a lot of attention and all that, but our room's entertaining. We make fun of each other. We give each other a hard time, and I think we're the guys that toughen each other in our room. We make each other tough, and sometimes some of the guys joke they call us the mean girls, because it's like, you mess up around us, we're getting after you. That's just the O-line group. It's a hard way to go.
I think I need to stay out of that room. I'm not very good with the mean girls. Andrew, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
Guys, what do you think? Mean girls?
I'm going to tell you what, if you've ever been around the offensive lineman, that's who you always want to play cards with, believe me. The poker night always involved a lot of offensive linemen because they are hilarious. When Michelle asked the first question about Andy Dalton, I guarantee you Andrew's brain was going, Are you really going to ask me about the quarterback again? Here I am on national television. You're going to ask me about, come on, Michelle. But he was polite, and then eventually it comes out.
3rd and 1, and the stop here will force Jacksonville to punt it away. Cincinnati going to take their final timeout as Ryan Brown came in to make that play. Whitworth, by the way, turns 35 in December.
Here we go. Brown going to come right down hard inside to make that play and keep this game alive. Nicely done. Sometimes you get late in these games and people that still have their legs underneath them and can make those quick moves like that can turn a game. Boy, Andrew Whitworth, he has been one of the steadiest offensive linemen, ranked 4th in Pro Football Focus a season ago of all the left tackles, and he just does not give up sacks. You know, year after year, you look at his numbers, he grades out terrific. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And no number to measure those intangibles that we talked about, his leadership within this team. High kick, good hang time. Brandon Tate fields it at the 45. Picks up some blocks and returns to the 11 into Jaguar territory at the 44 with 3:41 to go.
We're talking about it, but here's Andrew Whitworth, and he is getting a little older. I mean, he talked about the beard, but look at the consistency. The rank at the bottom, 6th, 2nd, 5th, 6th, 2nd, 1st, 4th. And one of those years was at 13, 14, whatever it was. He played a lot of guard, not because he wanted to. The team needed him, and they had somebody else that could play tackle. He went inside, never flinched, had a great year playing guard as well. He is the kind of guy you want to build a franchise around. I had one of those in Cincinnati myself, an old Anthony Munoz. So if you get the left tackle position settled, a lot of other things fall into place.
3:40 to go, Wenning back in the game. He bounces that one incomplete. Talk about Whitworth and solidifying that position and finding a young one. We had mentioned a couple of times with Cincinnati, Jake Fisher, Cedric Ogbuehi. When you take 1st and 2nd round offensive tackles in that same draft last year, you think they're going to grow in year 2, but because of their injuries, they've been held back, and it's the veteran Whitworth still there, and Eric Winston has had to step in and start for now at right tackle.
And did a nice job tonight.
I hope to get those guys back as we get close to kickoff weekend. Well, Wenning hit that time as he fired it out towards John Peters, and it was incomplete. Jordan Tripp out of Montana with the pressure.
Now you're going to get the old, here we go, the old Pittsburgh Steelers cross blitz right there. And there's a running back, you don't know who to pick up, and finally the quarterback picks up one on the end. But we've seen it all night. You know, we talked about Paul Gunther and that AA blitz. It's about getting immediate pressure on the quarterback. So many times you don't have time to run around the edge to get there.
Third and 10 as the Jaguars are running around disguising their coverage. Bengals flinched.
Full start. Offense, number 48. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
3rd and 15. You mentioned Todd Wash earlier. There he is.
Yeah, I asked a great defensive coordinator. I said, well, what are you about off the field? And so I like Harleys and skull tattoos up and down both arms. He has nothing but skull tattoos. So he wears a lot of long sleeve shirts, I guess. So
for the national TV games.
So he doesn't get fined.
First year's defensive coordinator. He's in Tampa and Seattle with Gus Bradley. Peters, who picked up the flag a moment ago, only gets 2 yards. Pollard, who has the go-ahead touchdown for the Jaguars, makes the tackle.
You got to give the Jags credit. They have hung in there, and these guys, we talked about it, the guys trying to make the team here on the tail end, they're attacking. You know, they're coming out here to win the game.
Kevin Huber will punt it again. Shane Wynn back to receive. 9th punt for Huber. going to let that go. Bengals will touch it inside the 10-yard line. And Jacksonville seeing Cincinnati without timeouts. 2:46 left. Try to run this baby out, get a couple of first downs, and get away with a win.
One of the guys we talked about, Nick Vigil, trying to work his way into the lineup. Unquestionably going to be on this football team. Pretty good at getting off blocks. Probably his strength in pass coverage. You see how quickly he can drop down. Going to miss this tackle. I remember that one earlier on. And then here is the way that they like to hug those linebackers up. They call that sort of a read blitz there, where you try and make the running back block you by thinking that you're blitzing. And if he can decipher it, he can get out and get past you, because then nobody would have you in man coverage. It's always a little cat and mouse game inside.
Banyard cups it up to about the 10-yard line. And those clocks are just about synced. Don't think they have to run another play before the 2-minute warning. We'll see. You talk about the linebackers, Chris, with Cincinnati. Vontaze Burfict, we've mentioned, is not playing tonight. Marvin Lewis choosing not to play him in the preseason as he faces the 3-game suspension for the repeated on-field violations. Well, it's no reason to risk or expose to any injury or anything else. So Burfict has not been in the lineup for the Bengals and won't be there till week 4.
He is the identity of this football team now. No matter what else you want to say, Vontaze Burfict has changed the perception of the toughness of the Cincinnati Bengals. Some good, some not so good.
2-minute warning. Jaguars leading by 5. 2 minutes left here in Jacksonville. Jaguars by 5. Take you through the pulse of what happened here tonight. Adam Jones hurt before the game, A.J. Green during the game, but A.J. told Michelle that it was nothing serious. Jacksonville's offense struggled, the first team in the first half. Andy Dalton and the Bengals offense looked sharp. A.J. McCarron followed him and did the same. Jacksonville has come back late here. 15 points in the fourth quarter. Take a 5-point lead, 26-21, and that will cinch it there. And the Bengals are out of timeouts. And Joe Banyard, who's done a nice job running the ball here in this second half, has iced this one, and here was the difference maker. The pass by Licata, intercepted by Hayes Pollard III.
A night he will never forget. Interception return for a touchdown, non-reported on a pass thrown to him out of the backfield, and there you have it. Do we have a star of the game during preseason, or we just...
You can do. You want to give it to him?
Yeah. What do we have for a prize? What we got back here? Any food left?
Well, you
Twinkies. We have anything we can give away?
You played in this stadium in the Florida-Georgia game.
Yes,
Maybe we have like an old Chris Collinsworth Florida jersey we can send to him.
I'm sure he would be thrilled. Absolutely sure. Yeah, this stadium looks a little different than it did back in the old world's largest cocktail party days. They've really done a nice job, though, here. They really have. And set the table. Now it's up to Gus and the guys. Just win football games.
And in a division where there are questions, we'll see how Osweiler does with Houston. Indianapolis has had trouble protecting Andrew Luck here in the preseason. Tennessee's offense looked good last night against the Raiders. The AFC South is one of those divisions where you're not sure how it's going to play out and who the heavy favorites are. So we'll see how Jacksonville eases their way into the season. This is their first win. They close up the preseason at Atlanta. Cincinnati will host the aforementioned Colts, but that's good to see A.J. Green running across the field at the end of the game as this one wraps up.
It's true, though.
It's a quick week for both of these teams. As we said, the last preseason game is on a Thursday. So a tight 4-day turnaround. Get that game done. Take care of the roster. Take care of business. Thank you, pal. It's been fun.
A lot of fun. We'll see you on the road this year, right?
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the 2016 season. NFL kickoff weekend beginning Thursday, September 8th. Rematch of Super Bowl 50, followed by the return of Sunday Night Football on September 11th. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, your local news followed by Dateline. Fred Godelli, Drew Esikoff in the truck, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, the entire outstanding Sunday Night Football team. Mike Tirico saying good night from Jacksonville.